Oh, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? What's up, Rumble? Didn't see you there. Today, we're going to talk about regime change in Venezuela. Is it about to happen, and what is it really about? I have a presentation that's about 6 minutes long for you guys that I took all morning to make, so I hope you guys stay tuned to watch that. I'm going to show you that at the beginning of this video. Then I'm going to tell you what I think regime change is about if you don't get the gist from that video. And then we're going to get into all the really dumb theories that people are saying and brainwashing people with that are obviously not true and just really dumb. So that's the show for today. Dreamer Podcast starts now. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if it sounds good. Give me a thumbs up on the video for the algorithm. And I will say hi to you guys when I play my intro video. Dreamer Podcast starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, folks? We got Aspiring Something. I can't see your full name. Jamester, Adam Hartz. I got Philip from Boston. What's up, Boston? And while people are coming in right before I play my presentation that I took all morning to make, I'm going to put a few of my hats on my head, and I'm going to play a character that I just thought of this morning named Jebediah Johnson. And Jebediah Johnson is a big Trump supporter that, you know, he might have gotten fooled on Iraq and got fooled by George Bush and Mitt Romney and John McCain. And he might have been wrong about Libya and Syria and Afghanistan and pretty much every war of the last 50 years. But this one's different. Let me tell you now, Patriot. I might have got fooled by Iraq, Iran. I mean, literally every war of my entire life has been a total lie. Every regime change has been a complete failure. They flooded America and Europe with migrants purposely, by the way, to completely destroy generationally certain people. But this one's different, Patriots. Let me tell you, this one's different. This ain't no Libya. This ain't no Syria. This one in Venezuela, I believe Pete Hegseth is beating up the bad guys and fighting the deep state because he posted a Franklin meme and I seen him on Fox News and I liked his tattoos and now he's in the White House and now this one is real. This ain't no Libya. I fell for all the other wars of my lifetime. I've ruined America for generations, but let me tell you, that Pete Hegseth, he's going to set the record. Oh my gosh. But no, for real though, that's the whole vibe. People are like, I've been wrong about every war ever, but this one, let me tell you now, youngin, this ain't no fake deep state regime change. Trust me. Someone told me on my Instagram, they said, Anomaly, you know, he's a dictator and America's trying to help the people of Venezuela. And I thought to myself, I said, listen, I'm not saying Maduro's a good guy. I'm not saying he's a good leader. Me personally, it doesn't matter who they wanted to run their country. I don't care. I don't really go to Venezuela. I've never been there, and I probably never will go there. But you actually think the U.S. government cares about citizens of another country to protect them from a dictatorship? Really? You really, after studying politics for 15 years, after they locked down the country, flooded the entire world with vaccines, tax us up to 40%, meet with leaders of Arab countries that have a lot of money because they don't give a crap. Oh my gosh. I know. I see it. You really think that they're just doing it for the people of Venezuela? Anyway, let me show you my presentation real quick. If you guys haven't seen it, probably not. I just posted it, but I couldn't fit it on YouTube or else I probably wouldn't have even been live today. I probably would have just done a short and been like, all right, I'm done for the day. But here's my presentation of why they're lying about the drug boats, why the Q-tarded theory about Trump's fighting the election. They rigged our elections they rigged our elections from Venezuela. It's like people are so dumb. But anyway, here's my presentation. Then we'll talk on the flip side. Thanks for being here. Regime change in Venezuela has been on the Uniparty menu for a decade now, and it's not about drugs. They're lying. All right, let's look at the facts. Fentanyl is the deadly drug killer that's killing millions of Americans. Venezuela is responsible for about 0% of it. When it comes to all illicit drugs coming into America, Venezuela is responsible for about 5%. Trump just pardoned a Honduras leader who allegedly flooded America with 400 tons of cocaine. But you have to wonder if Trump's even really in control or it's just his donors running the show, because earlier this year when he pardoned the Binance CEO and got backlash for it, Trump claimed he didn't really even know who he was.
Here's the thing. I know nothing about it because I'm too busy doing the other.
But
I can only tell you that.
Okay, then who made that decision? And when it comes to drugs, I won't talk about the billions of vaccines that flooded the world after Trump's Operation Warp Speed.
And they want me to do public service messages and everything about everybody taking the vaccine. And look, I guess in a certain way, I'm the father of the vaccine because I was the one that pushed it.
While people in almost every country were being threatened with unemployment or removal of society if they didn't get it, but that's a whole different topic. Here's Tulsi Gabbard in 2019 pleading against regime change in Venezuela. And in this clip in February 2020, Trump invited the opposition leader from Venezuela at the time, Juan Guaido, or maybe Juan Guido. I like that better. And even though Nancy Pelosi wouldn't clap for Trump if he saved her from a burning fire, here's her jumping out of her seat in joy to clap for this Venezuelan leader invited to an American State of the Union.
Maduro is an illegitimate ruler, a tyrant who brutalizes his people. But Maduro's grip on tyranny will be smashed and broken. Here this evening is a very brave man who carries with him the hopes, dreams, and aspirations of all Venezuelans. Joining us in the gallery is the true and legitimate president of Venezuela, Juan Guaido. Mr. President, please take this message back to you.
Am I allowed to say that he was obviously, probably, allegedly their regime change puppet plant at the time? And I guess it didn't work, so now they have some new lady who won a Nobel Peace Prize and told Netanyahu that she appreciates Israel's achievements in war, as Netanyahu congratulated her for her Nobel Peace Prize. Nothing to see here, folks. So now, since Trump is pardoning a narco-terrorist, Trump works with legal drug dealers to flood the world with drugs. And most people realize that less than 5% of the drugs coming to America come from Venezuela and almost none of the fentanyl. That fake narrative for regime change is falling apart. It used to be that Maduro was illegitimate. I guess they moved on to the drug narrative. Now you have a bunch of people claiming that it's actually Venezuela who rigged our elections, and that's what Trump is seeking vengeance for, even though, like I showed you, in February of 2020, before the election, Trump, Pelosi, and all of the uniparty puppets were clapping like seals for the fake opposition plant that they brought to America to pretty much tell you what they were doing. And since you can't spell narco-terrorist without terrorist, let's check in on the terrorists that they scared you about for the past few decades. Remember Al-Qaeda, who they said did 9/11? They majestically found a passport or something? Well, here's a wanted Al-Qaeda terrorist who was wanted by our government until he took over Syria. Now he's spraying perfume with Trump in the White House, meeting with former CIA directors, and smiling with Marco Rubio. Because I guess when Al-Qaeda wants to overthrow the leader of Syria and America wants to overthrow the leader of Syria, if an Al-Qaeda guy gets in there, our government's thrilled about it. The guy who killed our National Guard member recently fought alongside the US government in Afghanistan, so I guess they just let him into the country then. And when it comes to ISIS, one time they attacked our great ally by a mistake and apologized to them. But right, I'm sure they're really concerned with the terrorism in South America right now, and even though they lied about Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, and pretty much every war of our lifetime, they're telling the truth because you watch Fox News and Newsmax, right, Patriots? And a former Fox News host is now leading the Department of War to rebrand George Bush's war on terror to something more Trumpy that you guys believe, and it's totally different now because you trust them, right? Yeah, this is obviously more about Venezuela's relationship with Russia, Iran, China, and the fact that they have many boatloads of oil. And when it comes to oil, this administration is trying to punish any country working with Russia on oil. So in Venezuela, there's a way bigger regime change play there. If you believed it was over little drug boats or some cute-hearted theory of Venezuela rigging our elections, congratulations, you fell for it again. The real rigged election in America is the fact that no matter which party you vote for, most of the agendas stay the same. They all work for the donor class, and they've been waging wars for decades that have purposely displaced millions of people into America and Europe because the people that are above Trump, that are truly running our country, hate Europeans, hate Christians, and are purposely withering away nations that they want to generationally ruin. If you're gonna make fun of liberals all day, I understand it. They're ridiculous and stupid on almost every topic, but maybe it's time to stop falling for the neocon/Zionist false opposition narrative on every topic. Let me know what you think in the comment sections. God bless you. Appreciate y'all for hearing me out. Gosh darn it, Anomaly. I used to be a big fan. I bought all your hats and I wear them all at once. The dreamwear.com hats that have the promo code USA made, all caps, for the 10% off Cyber Monday, by the way. But I'm so mad that you did that report showing me facts and information that I'd never seen before, because I watch Newsmax and Military Industrial Complex Fox News, and they just always tell me that we're blowing up the bad guys, even though the terrorists that I thought did 9/11 were in the White House with Trump. And then ISIS apologized to our greatest ally, which makes absolutely no sense if I actually believe we were fighting the terrorists. And they lied to us about 15 other countries for the last 70 years. And now my grandkids have to grow up in a completely conquered and subversive country. But how dare you show me the facts about the Venezuela? Because I believe Pete Hegseth. It's a black pill, Anomaly. So learning information and knowing the truth is a black pill, because I like being fooled. Being fooled is a white pill. It's a white pill when I just constantly get lied and tricked in a loop. It really is optimistic for me to lie to myself and be wrong, and then be frustrated in 7 months and apologize to you, and then hit you up on Instagram 5 years later and say sorry, unblock me because I was wrong, and then I get mad at you again, and then you block me again. And then I apologize again because I got tricked 15 times in a row. But don't tell me. All right. And just remember, folks, we love the boomers here, okay? We love boomers, okay? I love boomers. There's picture proof. It's not AI. That's really just me hanging out with boomers. I'm just kidding. Obviously, that's an image. But yeah, so I'm going to, now that I made that video, someone said, does this dude have Down syndrome? Good question, Scott. Does this dude have Down syndrome? I don't think so, but I'm never opposed to another physical just to double check. Thank you, Scott. Oh, there's two options that you do when most people are constantly tricked about everything. Either you make jokes about it or you just cry. And I'm not in a crying mood. During the pandemic, it kind of showed me how easily tricked everybody was. I would say like 80 to 90, I think 70 to 80% of the people got the vaccine. Probably 90 to 95% of people complied to any mask mandate that made absolutely no sense. And that's when you realize that, you're basically in the Matrix and the Truman Show, and most people just do not think for themselves or want to know the truth. So I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun with it today. I'm not going to like cry and be like, there's channels that'll be like, oh, World War VII, we're all going to get blown up by a nuke. Like, I don't really do that here. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not always like having this much fun and trying to like make jokes about it, but I don't think I really like fear monger. I'm not afraid of World War III per se. I don't fear war. I don't fear nuclear bombs. That's not something I like. I don't believe in that. But as far as the information, I don't find knowing the truth that scary. Like to me, it's more scary that people just lie to themselves on loop and get tricked. Like if let me just give you an example. Then I'm going to get into all the theories that I believe are wrong about Venezuela and why, if that video wasn't enough. During the two, and let's keep in mind too, I'm a humble person. I was wrong about some things. Obviously, I got tricked by certain narratives in my teens and like early 20s, I would say. So I'm not acting like I'm right about everything, but in my teens, I definitely knew that the war on terror was a lie, and I didn't trust George Bush, right? I would say almost nobody agreed with me. Like I would tell kids at school, they thought I was crazy. Adults called me a conspiracy theorist or like a terrorist sympathizer. everybody believed George Bush and everybody thought he was fighting for their freedom and he was beating up Afghanistan or whoever he pretended to beat up for freedom because we're so free in America and they're so not free and we're just helping all these people out. Obviously, that was a lie, but if you were 10, 20 years ahead of the curve on that, everybody called you a terrorist or a conspiracy theorist because the truth was considered a conspiracy theory to people who believed the 3, 4, 5 corporations who controlled all their media companies. And especially back then, you didn't have social media. It's like everything was literally a control matrix, and the only people that knew what was going on were basically outcasted from society. Now it's a little bit different. More people know the truth. There's more theories, so people are even more scrambled in different ways. But as far as like the Venezuela thing, um, I guess just most people are just really like don't get it. I don't know. I told people 3 or 4 months ago, and I'm going to preface this just for those who don't understand my motives or what I'm doing. I'm not saying Maduro's a good leader. I'm not saying he's good for Venezuela. I don't necessarily care if the Venezuelan people chose to get rid of him or not. But as far as the drug boat narrative, when they first rolled that out, it was obviously not true. That was the first. I mean, to be honest, it's not the first. I showed you that video. They've been trying to regime change Maduro for decades now. First, they said he was an illegitimate dictator, which may or may not be true. I don't really know. But they never talked about the drugs. They were just like, he's a dictator. And just like they did Bashir al-Assad. They said Bashir al-Assad is a butcher and a dictator. And they replaced him with an Al-Qaeda plant. And now the Al-Qaeda plant gets to go to the White House because Al-Qaeda fought alongside America to overthrow Bashir al-Assad. Bashir al-Assad was not necessarily bad for Syrian people, but Bashir al-Assad was not good for America and Israel, who wanted to do stuff in Syria. And Syria worked with people that we are not friendly with, like Russia, etc., Iran. So as far as that whole thing, it's like it wasn't about what they said. They didn't overthrow Bashir al-Assad because he's some horrible dictator, because they don't care about dictators. Everybody cries about Qatar now because a bunch of like pro-Israel influencers that take free trips to Israel, they all took a free trip to Qatar, and all of the Zionists are freaking out like, how dare you go to Qatar? They don't treat gays good. They're a dictator, blah, blah, blah. The American government doesn't care about that. If you put an air base or they have oil money or you could strike a deal with them, you think America cares how a Middle Eastern country treats gay people? America is like Sodom and Gomorrah. Gambling is everywhere. Pharmaceutical ads are absolutely everywhere. The country is obese. We're being absolutely poisoned through our food supply. Trump's EPA, which is totally corrupt and filled with lobbyists, is about to approve forever chemical PFAs being sprayed in our pesticides while half of our country's fat. Everybody in the world knows our food is shit, yet nobody cares and RFK can't do anything about it. You think they care about other countries or the Venezuelan people? Like, it's just laughable. So I just want to get it out of the way for those who care. I'm not saying Maduro's a great guy or this leader's a great guy, but like if you're so dumb that you think America cares about the Venezuelan people, but half of our country's obese, fat, and they're spraying PFAs on all of our stuff and poisoning us, like, but they don't care about us. It's like it's not about who treats gay people in what way, and especially like if you're a Christian. I'm not saying you have to be a Middle Eastern country, but it's like, aren't you concerned that your country looks like Sodom and Gomorrah? All of these biblical principles that were pretty much not allowed in America for hundreds of years, because even though we were a free country, we weren't an evil country necessarily, or as evil, I think, as we are now. In many ways, like none of this concerns you. Like, why not look at gambling, pornography, the over sexualization of America, obesity, the poisoning of our food, like all of these things in America, nobody's fixing. Our country just keeps getting more and more degenerate, more and more sick, more and more fat. Yet you think you're an activist in Qatar because they're not nice enough to gay people. If you want people to be nicer to gay people, move to San Francisco. They're very nice to gay people there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, go to freaking Los Angeles. Like, now Republicans are like libtards, Zionists are like, oh, I'm mad at the gays in Qatar and people visiting there. The point that I'm trying to make is everybody is so like brainwashed by so much Trump slop, goy slop, republic, like, fake opposition slot propaganda in their heads that they just like nothing they say makes sense at all ever. So when it comes to like Qatar, everybody's freaking out that these influencers visited Qatar because they're like, we thought you were only going to visit Israel. And the people that visited Qatar, now you can tell who's actually Israel first and has like deep, emotional and perhaps ethnic or religious ties to Israel. And then the influencers who just take a free trip to anywhere. You give them a free trip to Qatar, Israel, they'll probably go to Russia. You know what I'm saying? Like you give them a free trip, they're going to go hang out there. And it's hilarious just watching everybody fight with each other. But back to Venezuela, it's like it's not about him being a dictator. Nobody cares. It's not about him treating his people bad. Like our country has our own issues that they can't solve. We have inflation and debt running out of proportion. And you think Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump are giving a standing ovation in 2020 to an opposition leader that they probably planted with the CIA in Venezuela because they just really care about Venezuelans, but they don't care about people. And like, it's like, I'm not trying to be rude about this, but I kind of have to laugh. Like, are people this dumb? Am I that smart? I don't think this is that hard of a concept. Like there's people doing math equations that I'm like, okay, that's a genius. Like, Magnus Carlsen, the chess player, like genius. You know what I'm saying? Like that's stuff where I'm like, all right, not everyone's that good at chess. I'm not that good at chess. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough at pattern recognition, and I haven't studied chess enough to be that good at chess. And maybe if I studied my whole life, I probably would never be even close to that because I'm not like that guy. Is this chess to people? Like regime change in other countries like this, 95% of people just can't figure this out. Is it an IQ issue? Are people just like emotionally retarded? I can't understand it because to me, all this stuff is so obvious. You don't have to like Maduro. You don't have to care about it, but you actually think that they're doing this because of a drug boat? Just look where the drugs are coming from. 0% of the fentanyl is coming from Venezuela. They're not stopping it because I don't know why. They're trying, I guess, but I think other countries with more money than Venezuela are behind the fentanyl crisis. So it's a little bit more difficult to stop, I guess. But it's like 0% of the fentanyl is coming from them. 5% of all drugs are coming from them. This is a good, thank you for this comment. You said, why are you siding with actual narco cartels? Trump just pardoned a person who flooded America with 400 tons of cocaine. Trump is siding with narco terrorists. Trump is in the White House spraying perfume on a guy who worked for Al Qaeda. ISIS apologized to Israel when they attacked them, according to an Israeli high-level person there. Trump is siding with narco terrorists while convincing you he's fighting narco terrorists. You are buying this like propaganda neocon Zioslop narrative that they keep feeding you. It's like, we're fighting Gaddafi because he's a dictator. They lied to you. We're fighting Bashar al-Assad because he's a butcher. They lied to you. We need to regime change Venezuela because of narco terror. They're not doing that. They're not doing it because of drugs. They're not doing it to stop drugs. They're not doing it because of an election fraud in Venezuela. How stupid are Q-tards? I'm sorry, but it's like, aren't you guys tired of getting tricked by like low IQ, like Trump fans on it's a Venezuela? You think Venezuela controls American elections? Are you stupid? Are you that stupid? Before the election, years before the election of 2020, they were plotting their regime change in Venezuela. 8 months before the election, before the lockdown, before the pandemic in 2020, Trump invited to an American State of the Union address a planted opposition leader of Venezuela to tell everybody that he's the real president of Venezuela. They were trying to regime change Maduro in 2020 before the lockdown, and Pence was in on it. Pence was in on it. Pelosi was in on it, and Trump was in on it. Trump is not fighting Pence and Pelosi. Trump is working with Pence and Pelosi to regime change Venezuela before the election. How many times do you want to get set up by the vaccine salesman and these stupid influencers who literally like, I'm not trying to be a dick and I'm not going to name names because I'm going to try to be nice today. But I follow somebody on Twitter that I know it means well. Maybe they're just not that bright or something, or they work at a news organization where you have to like suck up to Trump or else you can't work there. But they're always like, Trump's getting tricked by his advisors. Trump's surrounded by bad people. Yeah, because he hired them, dingbat. Trump hired Susie Wiles. Trump does deals with Pfizer. Trump meets with Bill Gates. Trump purposely hired Marco Rubio. Trump hired all of these people because Trump is one of them. Who does Trump work for? Who are Trump's big donors? Who gave Trump and the GOP $500 million? What country does Trump think they work for? Duh. It's all right. It's like, oh, he's surrounded. You're surrounded. The real black pill is lying to yourself over these retards for 50 years straight because you don't want to hear the truth. The truth is not a black pill. The truth sets you free. The black pill is believing idiots that are telling you that this is over an election in Venezuela. And I told people in 2020, obviously, I don't think the election was completely fair because both parties locked the country down, printed trillions of dollars, and wouldn't let people travel while they mass mail-in ballots to everybody's house. You don't need to look that hard for the election fraud. Trump locked the country down. Trump extended it. Democrats went even further. Trump funded the Democrats through the CARES Act, and then they went insane with the money and the power that Trump gave them. So then, yes, the election was not completely fair. But the Republicans and Trump were in on it. That's why I didn't do what everyone else did. They're, oh, it's the rigged election. The real rigged election is that both sides are controlled. Even when Trump, here's the real rigged election that nobody seems to be able to figure out. It's not coming from a machine in Venezuela. If your country's getting rigged by Venezuela as the United States of America, it's time to pack it in if you're that weak. And like that didn't happen. The real rigged election is the fact that even if Trump beats Hillary Clinton, Trump is okay with 15 days to slow the spread. Trump is taking meetings with Bill Gates. Trump runs up the debt. Trump doesn't fully prevent their wars. Trump does Operation Warp Speed. Trump is trying to regime change Venezuela. Trump brings an opposition leader before the pandemic to the State of the Union address in America, where why are Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence clapping so hard when Trump brings the opposition leader to Venezuela to the State of the Union? Why are they clapping so hard? Because it's a deep state uniparty agenda that supersedes Trump. Trump's not stopping them. He's just the puppet doing it. That's why they're cheering so much. That's the real rigged election. It doesn't really matter that much. I voted in this election because I like Republican judges over Democrat judges. Even the bad Republican Supreme Court justices are better than Democrat ones. Trump shuts the border. That's really it. Like, I'm not under some illusion that voting for Trump fixes the world. Out of 99% of things that like affect me, I would say Trump can change 5 to 10% of it, maybe. And then 90 to 95% of it still stays the same. I know that. I want people to wake up whether he wins or loses. I just think now that he's in office, there's no more like it's coming in 5. It's here now. Nothing's changing that much. Give him 3 years, see what he does. But if nothing really changes that much, just be honest about it. He closes the border. He hires better judges. He's pretty much Marco Rubio or George Bush. He's not that different. He just has more pizzazz and, finesses a few more deals. Sometimes they're better. Sometimes they're worse. Sometimes Trump is so bold, he does something that a politician wouldn't even do. Sometimes it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. Other times it's like Trump's the only one with balls to do things for the deep state in some cases. You can make the argument when it comes to the lockdown, you could make the argument that Hillary Clinton would have locked down exactly the same, and I wouldn't disagree with you. It would have been like Hillary Clinton would have done 15 days to slow the spread. Hillary Clinton would have extended it. Hillary Clinton would have been worse. Possibly, yeah, probably, possibly. But there's also an argument that Trump is like so sneaky, that he went even further. Maybe they wouldn't have. I don't know. Obama was in for 8 years. He didn't lock the country down. But then Biden got in and mandated and went full psychopath. So I don't really know. But it's getting to the point where people should at least think of these things and not just think he's like a savior. So when it comes to Venezuela, here's what I'm saying. And here's what I know for sure. This regime change has been at least over a decade in the making. At least. It's not about drug boats. It's not about a 2020 election machine from Q-tards who constantly get fooled because they believe in Trump. It's not about helping the people of Venezuela. They don't even care about us. It's about regime change. It's about the oil they have. It's about the fact that they don't play ball with us. If they played ball with us and they played ball with Israel and they played ball with our allies, then we probably wouldn't need to regime change Venezuela. He could be a dictator beating his people, and we probably wouldn't even care as long as he played ball with us. But he's not playing ball with us. He's not playing ball with Israel. and he's not playing ball with our side of the World War III, the liberal gay world order, or whatever they call it. He's playing ball with Russia, Iran, and China. I'm just being honest about it. I'm not saying Maduro's good. I don't necessarily care whether he stays or not. Like, what do I care about what's going on in Venezuela? Yeah, I want people to be helped out, but unfortunately, our regime change record is not good. We're like 0 for 40. They lied about every war. They even lied about the world wars. People just haven't figured that out yet. Everything's a lie, and our country represents the lie. That's why our country is beaten down. That's why the demographics are changing. That's why everybody's fat and poisoned by the shit food they're making. That's why Trump's a pharmaceutical monster who's just sending billions of products around the world. They lied about all the... So, excuse me if, even though I don't like Maduro, I'm not so like, oh, let's go regime change them. We're only 0 for 80. Maybe this one will be a good one. Probably not, because if they don't give a shit about us, how in the world are they going to make sure that Venezuelan people are okay? And if you look at certain parts of Africa and certain parts of the Middle East and certain parts of South America, it's not it's like South Park said, we're not the world police. It's not our responsibility to fix everyone's society. And the truth is, whether people want to admit it or not, some people are not ready for certain things. Think about it on an individual level, right? Let's just say I had 50 mansions to give to people for free, and I gave them to 50 different people. Think of your friends, your family members, anybody you know. You give 50 different people mansions. Some people would build an empire out of that mansion. Some people would trash it. Some people would burn it down. Some people would sell drugs out of it. It's like everyone doesn't do the same things with the same opportunities. If that's true on an individual basis, why would that not be true on a societal basis? You could spend 1,000 years in certain parts of Africa giving them trillions of dollars, and they're not going to build a New York City or a San Francisco because it's just not their style or not what they're going to do. And the same with South America. So this idea, oh, we can make Afghanistan like America. No, we can't. 20 years later, we just gave it back to the Taliban because we never cared about them anyway. We weren't there to build schools to educate them. We were there to implement our foreign policy agenda, which has an overarching goal that isn't what they're telling you on television. They're not telling you their goal of their foreign policy, because if they told you the goal of their foreign policy, you wouldn't support it. They have to lie to you to manufacture consent for all of these wars, and Venezuela is no different. Someone said it's a racist comment. It's not racist. It's just the reality of the world. True racism is trying to flood every country with migrants so there is no diversity. True diversity is different countries in Europe being themselves, Africa being themselves, everybody in Africa getting to choose who they want to be, whether it's Nigeria or South America, without intervention from white countries trying to tell them what to do. And then the world is truly diverse, and you could see the different outcomes itself. Fake diversity is when you have NGOs flood every country with migrants, so no one has true culture identity anymore. And then we have this idea that we could just save everybody when it's not the reality. Some people are going to work at different speeds and want to do different things. It's the opposite of racism. But the word racism to me is just a made up term to say I'm better than you because you're talking about race and I'm too fake or stupid to admit you're honest. Some people are rude when they talk about race. You're being rude. You're being mean. You're being evil. These are words that make sense to me. You're talking about race being rude and evil, and you're wrong. Not you're racist because I can't really understand. I'm better than you, but I don't really have to explain why. Yeah, nobody believes you anymore. But anyway, so when it comes to Venezuela, it's not about the things they're saying it's about. Why can't they just tell you the truth? Why do they think we're too stupid or something? Why can't they just tell us, listen, guys, it's not about the drug boats. If it were about drugs, we'd be doing way more things to way more countries that are doing the drugs. But it's about the fact that, Venezuela has a lot of oil. Venezuela is working with our enemies, and we don't want them to. And to be honest, I think they want the oil. Trump, even though he doesn't always, he does support some wars when he gives weapons to Israel or Ukraine sometimes, but Trump is a finesser with business. So even though people think he's like, oh, he's fighting Zelensky, he's working with Russia. He's not. He's really screwing over Russia. And he's doing something that I disagree with, actually, where he's trying to punish any country who does business with Russia. He's trying to destroy Russia. And I'm just going to be honest. Look at Europe. It's all falling apart. It's all getting invaded. It's all getting completely destroyed by design. Like I said in my video, I'm just being blunt. I don't care. You could take it up with who you want to, but I'm trying to please God and please the truth. I don't really care what anyone else thinks. They hate Europeans. They hate Christians. They have a deep-seated, long-term hate for Christians and Europeans. So the fact that European countries and Christian countries are being completely reversed, it's not this random mistake. It's like people that believe the lockdown is like, oh, no, and it's not your truth. It is the truth. This is not my truth. I don't have a truth. This is the truth. Okay. With the lockdown, people go, oh, they just made a mistake and just happened to sell billions of dollars worth of products. Oh, what a convenient mistake for these people. It's not a mistake. It's the design. You just think it's a mistake because you're stupid and naive and foolish. That's why the elites think you're cattle. Moo. When it comes to Europe, people say, oh, well, the neocons, the Republicans who did all these wars with the neoliberals, they really want to fight the migration. They really want to fight the migrants. They just made a mistake, and then the liberals do it. The neocons are in on it. You can actually see who wanted to bring the Afghans to America because the Afghans were working with the CIA, and one of them killed our National Guard member. There were multiple Republican Zionist neocons who were lobbying to keep them in America because they were fighting alongside our government. It's not just the liberals who are doing the mass migration. It's the neocons and Zionists as well. Not all of them, but most of them. So if Republicans can't understand that, they're like, oh, it's just a mistake that our countries got flooded by migration. No, it's not. They hate you. And when it comes to Russia, what is Russia? What are two things that let's go four things that Russia are, right? Russia is a huge country, right? It's enormous geographically. It's extremely powerful when it comes to wealth and just militarily. Like it's a powerhouse in the world. It's also a majority white and a majority Christian. Countries like that don't really exist anymore. You think it's random that the countries that are allied with all the European countries that are completely falling apart want to destroy Russia? You think that's just random? Oh, let's take the only country that isn't completely subverting their entire future and their entire, history, and let's attack them. And let's get Trump, the ultimate puppet, the ultimate donor owner. His donor owners get to decide what Trump wants to do. Let's try to strong arm every country, including India and other of our allies that want to do business with Russia. Let's punish everybody so nobody buys Russian oil, so Russian gets destroyed, so they could turn Russia into Paris or London or San Francisco, because that's what they want to do. They hate the fact that Russia is not completely ruining itself like every other country we're aligned with. So when Trump is trying to cut off every country that is working with Russia, and they have oil, and that's one of their biggest, money makers, you think he's concerned with Venezuela over a drug boat that looks like a fisherman boat that probably doesn't have enough gas or space to do any, you're an idiot. Has nothing to do with these drug boats, if they're even drug boats. We don't know because they're not taking any of these people to court. They're just killing them. It has to do with regime change, and the regime change has to do with the oil, and the oil has to do with the fact that it's flowing, or at least could be flowing, to an alliance between China, Russia, and Iran instead of America, Israel, and our allies, and Saudi Arabia, whoever, we're fully working with on that. But here's my issue. Our country is being controlled by people who hate us. Our alliance hates us and hates Europe and hates pretty much everybody that we're aligned with. Who's benefiting from our liberal world order? How's England doing? How's America doing? How's Canada doing? How's France doing? How's Germany doing? The only one that's doing good in our alliance is like Poland, They're the only ones that seem to be able to not completely fold and collapse under our liberal gay world order. So more power to them, because the last thing Poland would want is to turn into Sweden. That's going to be a foreign country in 50 years. Or London. So when it comes to this whole thing, unfortunately, I'm just not dumb enough to believe Pete Hegseth and Newsmax and Fox News and all of these Trump bootlickers who are just repeating government propaganda. Well, it's different this time because Trump's in the White House. This agenda has been under play for decades. Pelosi wants it. Pence wants it. Rubio wants it. Graham wants it. They all want it. This is not a Trump phenomenon that he just thought of. They're just using Trump because Trump is the guy that's rebranding the war on terror to try to make it cool. When Biden funds Israel and they're just decimating Gaza, Democrats are upset. And Biden just, he doesn't really, like every party plays a role. Democrats just kind of like pretend like they're not doing it, sort of like when Obama was in office. He's like, okay, I'm bombing 7 countries right now. Okay, for the deep state. Okay, I'm letting the deep state do what they want. Okay, but I shoot basketballs and I like Kendrick Lamar. Okay, so it's pretty cool when you don't pay attention to all the wars I'm starting. That's what they do when a Democrat's in office. They just pretend like it's not happening. When Biden's in office, Israel's just blowing up tens of thousands of people. And he goes, okay, Jack, I'm going to send Greta Thunberg over there. And okay, Jack, where am I again? Like they pretend like they're helping the people that they're funding a war against. That's what Democrats do because they're not pro-war to their base, even though they are. So they just pretend like it's not happening. When a Republican's in office, whether it's George Bush or Donald Trump or whoever's going to follow Donald Trump, they lean into war because Republicans historically are easy to trick. You just turn that LGBT bomb into an American flag bomb. You just turn that, okay, it's not happening, into, no, it is happening, but we're going to change the pronouns on that bomb. It's no longer a he, her bomb. It's a straight bomb that's going to blow up a school full of children real quick. And then we're going to say it never happened. Or we're going to say it's a conspiracy theory. So they're doing literally the same exact thing they did under George Bush, but people are buying it because it's Donald Trump. When George Bush was in office, it's about patriotism. It's about fighting terrorism. And now what are they saying? Oh, we're fighting narco-terrorism. Well, most of the drugs aren't coming from Venezuela. You just pardoned a drug dealer from Honduras who literally sold drugs. And when it comes to terrorists, the 2 biggest terrorist groups of our lifetime are Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Al-Qaeda fought alongside America in Syria to overthrow the leader, and then an Al-Qaeda leader became the leader of Syria, and then that Al-Qaeda leader, who was wanted on a wanted poster from the U.S. Embassy of Syria, gets invited to the White House to meet with Donald Trump, to meet with former CIA Director Petraeus, who he fought against or something, and meet with Marco Rubio. So there's one terrorist group that they told you did 9/11, right? They did 9/11, right? Let's believe the government. They did 9/11 because they found a passport. Well, an Al-Qaeda leader is now in the White House hanging out with Trump. So I don't think they were ever really fighting Al-Qaeda. They were more like fighting alongside Al-Qaeda in Syria, literally. So that was a lie. Those terrorists that did 9/11, your government worked alongside. Nobody cares about that. Why? Pete Hegseth didn't tell you about it. You didn't hear that one on Newsmax, did you, Betty? Did you, Jim? You didn't hear. I don't know why. Sorry if you're a Betty or Jim. I apologize. But it's like, wake up. Okay, so there's the people who did 9/11. We're clearly not fighting them. What about ISIS? I just showed you they apologized to a country for why would they be fighting America but apologize to our ally? That's not a little weird. It is weird. It's just people don't know these things. They listen to idiots. They listen to slop media, destroying their brain so their kids and grandkids have no future. So excuse me if I'm a little passionate. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Okay, so if Al-Qaeda and ISIS aren't really who they said they were, but these narco-terrorists on the boats are, there's a reason the elites literally think you're cattle. They look at you and they think, you're cattle. You're an animal. You're not even human. That's what they think of you. So either you can prove them right or you can prove them wrong. Right now, you're proving them right. I'm not a cattle, but I'll wear a mask in a restaurant. I'm not a cattle, but I'll go get mRNA, synthetic mRNA injected into my body. I'm not a cattle, but I'm going to believe this regime change narrative, even though I'm wrong about the last 50. I'm not cattle, but I'm going to believe this is about a 2020 election machine when literally before the election, Pelosi, Pence, and Trump were bringing an opposition leader to America in an American State of the Union. Why would a Venezuelan leader get invited to an American State of the Union? Because he's a plant. They've been trying to regime change before the election. And I've gotten to a point now where I don't really care what other people say necessarily, because that's the world, right? You know, the older you get, the wiser you get. You can't change everybody's mind, and nor should you. But it's like in this game of news, technically, you know, everybody's competing for your attention. Everybody's competing for your brain, essentially. You know, I believe that I've done a really good job of being honest, being accurate, being, you know, not negative about it or trying to scare people, more just giving them the information. But there's a lot of people just scrambling people's brains. So it's like, on one hand, yeah, I understand that not everybody's going to get everything. So I'm a lot more patient than I used to be. On another hand, it's like Groundhog Day, where people that have shared audiences, they're believing the dumbest people for no reason. And they just keep getting tricked over and over and over again. But that's life. What am I going to do about it? You know, like, I'm not scrambling to make videos every day like I used to, because it's like, you know, I can only do so much. I'm not going to like beat myself up trying to wake people up. I'll just work at my own pace. And, you know, when I'm inspired to put out a video and people want to listen, they can. If not, they don't have to. But one thing I will say on a positive note is I've been getting a lot of messages this year about a lot of different things, because if you really look at my track record since I started doing news reporting, there's a lot of things that I was early on. 2017, I talked about the regime change in Syria with Tulsi Gabbard, people like Jimmy Dore and others. 2019, I started talking about the Israeli IHRA speech laws that they're embedding into America and absolutely at some point going to use. And 15 years later, everybody will apologize for not knowing what I was talking about when they start using them. But, you know, calling Trump out super early over the vaccine and the lockdown, saying that he was essentially not who everybody thought he was. Vivek Ramaswamy, I think, honestly, I can't really think of one other person who accurately pegged Vivek for who he was, which, once again, not to pick on Vivek right now, but that one was crazy to me too. Because like I said, if I'm sitting here and playing chess at a Magnum Carlsen level, I'm not going to be like, oh, everybody's stupid, I'm so smart. I'm not that good at chess. There's other things I'm good at. It's not chess. I'm average at chess, probably below average, but I'm not doing Magnum Carlsen check. Vivek Ramaswamy was a pharmaceutical billionaire who nobody knew 2 years ago because he was on Jim Cramer hawking his, you know, multiple time failed drug. It's like, is this the Truman Show? Are we in the Matrix? Are people this stupid? Like I said, I'm not doing math equations that only, you know, freaking Magnus Carlsen or some chess wizard can do. It's like 99.9% of Republican influencers were like, oh, Vivek's my best friend. Oh, he's a hero. He should be the vice president. Why would you want a pharmaceutical billionaire to be the vice president after you just suffered a lockdown and some pharmaceutical scam? Now you want a pharmaceutical billionaire who said he cried on January 6th and wrote a book? Like, people are so stupid. Someone said it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable to me. It's literally shocking. I was like, it literally makes me feel like it's the Truman Show. I'm like, are people this retarded? Is this fake? Is all this fake? Because it's like, I'm very athletic. There's some things, I'm a good rapper. I'm good with poetry. There's some things that I think I'm like top tier. And to be honest, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm one of the best journalists as well. So clearly this is one of the things I'm great at. But at the same time, I just don't think pegging a pharmaceutical billionaire for not the vice president is one of my greatest accomplishments. Like, I'm more embarrassed for everybody else than I am impressed that I was able to do that. Yeah, my interview was good, but it's like, that should be status quo. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to give an interview to a pharmaceutical billionaire who you didn't know 6 months ago, but no one did it. Nobody. What the hell is going on here? So this is my competition for people's mindset is 99% of the industry is either retarded or lying to you. And I can't really figure it out. You know, I know a lot of reasons that people are lying. There's social reasons. Like if, I'm thinking of somebody on Twitter right now that's always like, Trump's getting tricked. I know that she works for a very pro-Trump news organization. So if she came out and just was honest, I don't know that she could work there anymore. Maybe they would look at her like, oh man, she's being a downer or whatever. So it's like, instead of just being like, dang, Trump's doing this and that, she has to constantly frame it as like, it's everyone around Trump. He's getting tricked by Susie Wiles. He's getting tricked by Rubio. He doesn't know what's going on. It's like, grow up. That made sense in 2018 and 2017 and maybe even like 2019. But now, if you're still playing the game of Trump is some oblivious retard who just gets tricked by everybody around him, but he doesn't want to be tricked, you're lying to yourself. He's just one of them. He's just one of them with way more swag, with way better jokes, and that's way more believable. If you go to the WWE, why did they make Hulk Hogan a star and why did they make Iron Sheik a villain? They looked at the two characters and they said, he's the star. He's the one who's going to sell all the merchandise. He's the one who's going to make us money. That's Trump. You know what I'm saying? Trump is a star, but he's a star donor sucker. He's a star politician. In some ways, he does some things better than them and sort of, but to be honest, it does seem like over the last couple of months, he's really not doing like I would say I had very low expectations for Trump, right? I would say of people that voted for Trump, I probably had the lowest expectations because I understand the reality of politics. Even though I had extraordinarily low expectations for Trump, I think he's doing worse than I thought, even though I had pretty much no expectations. But I'm not shocked. It's not like I'm shocked. It's not like I didn't think this was a possibility. It's just like, I was like, all right, I know you're going to be a sneak. I know you're going to do this, but just do a few of these things. I didn't need regime change in Venezuela and these fake tariffs. To be honest, at this point, I don't really care what happens, but I don't believe that Trump is going to get rid of income tax. If he did, that would be amazing. But he's using the tariffs as leverage to punish countries who do the right thing, basically. It's like, I don't care if Canada doesn't want to destroy Palestine as hard as America. I don't care if India buys Russian oil. Like, I'm fine with that. I think Russia should be allowed to do business. I think Palestine should be allowed to be loved by a country without getting their kids blown up. Like, that's not like a deal breaker to me. But Trump is using tariffs to punish countries who don't fall in line with the neocon Zionist liberal gay world order agenda. That's a fact. So it's like he's pitching the tariffs to his base, just like George Bush pitched the war on terror, saying these tariffs are to get rid of your income tax. Do it, bro. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. If you get rid of income taxes forever, I'll buy a MAGA hat and put it on for the first time. Okay. Sure. But if you don't, you're just head faking that. And you're not doing the tariffs for American businesses. You're doing the tariffs as a way to essentially bully other countries into blowing up Palestine more or not supporting them or destroying Russia so it could turn into San Francisco and Paris and London. Like, Trump is an evil idiot. He just frames everything as some sort of like mastermind thing for America when it's for his donors. Cutting off Russian oil. Why? Like, what do you want Russia to be like? You want it to be like Ukraine? You want a Ukraine Russia? You want a France Russia? You want a Germany Russia? What do you want? They don't care about the people there. They don't care about the people of Europe. They don't care about the people of the Middle East. And I have my beliefs of why, Israel firsters hate Qatar so much, because like Qatar's not even on most people's radar. It's a U.S. ally. We have a base there. Obviously, there's the Hamas angle, because I think a decade ago or so, America and Israel asked Qatar. They basically were like, "Yo, you should host Hamas so we can do peace deals through you guys." They didn't just randomly do it on their own. America and Israel asked them to do it, and now everyone's acting like they're just doing it for no reason. It's like you literally asked them. But besides that, people want you to believe that all of the Middle East is like some shithole. A lot of it probably is, to be honest, or some of it for sure. I'm not acting like I want to go everywhere in the Middle East. Qatar is not a shithole. Saudi Arabia is not a shithole. Dubai is not a shithole. There's a lot of really nice parts of the Middle East that are nice, clean, safer than America. And to be honest, have closer to biblical values than the liberal gay world order, collapsed Sodom and Gomorrah nation that neocon Zionists and neoliberals have built. So it's like they don't want people to figure that out, because if you saw that and figured it out, you'd realize they're lying about the wars. So you're like, wait, why is this city nice, clean, and safe when all my cities are shit? Why can I leave a Rolex on a bench in this city for an hour and they'll return it to me, but in my own city they'll hold me up at gunpoint just for wearing it to an Italian restaurant? It would break people out of the fake slumber of all the wars they're starting when people realize that, it's not all that way. And it's not like we've made, like, you could fix, I don't know. It's like, can you fix a horrible country in the Middle East and make it better? They need to fix it. They need to figure it out. We can't just invade and fix it. And that goes with Venezuela too. I understand the oil thing. It might be good for the petrodollar and in turn good for Americans in some way, but it's like, look at our country. Our America right now is proof that money doesn't buy everything. We have a first world economy, one of the biggest economies in the world. California has an economy bigger than most countries in the world. They're top 5. Yet half of our country's fat. Our food is being poisoned. Trump is further going to poison it with all his little sneaky EPA buddies, because they're doing these new pesticides that are horrible that nobody seems to want to report on. Our country's flooded with pharmaceuticals. If you watch any sort of television, pharmaceutical, gambling, pharmaceutical, gambling, pharmaceutical. We're living in Sodom and Gomorrah. And then Zionists are like, you should be scared of Sharia law. I'm not Muslim. I don't want to live in an Islamic country personally, but I'm a Christian. I'm an American. And American Christians used to not want to legalize gambling everywhere, used to not believe in pornography. And a simple Google search can show you who legalized pornography in America, who pushed pornography in America, why they did it. And a religious person owns one of the biggest porn companies in the world, a religious leader. And I'll give you a hint. They're not Muslim or Christian. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why should I think that our government could fix Venezuela or Afghanistan when our cities are falling apart? Most people are fat. Our commercials are absolutely disgusting. Our culture is withering away. They're importing people legally and illegally to purposely flip the demographics of the country. Trump is fake opposition supporting H-1B visas, pretending like they're bringing a few Taiwanese people over to build chips, when the reality is it's mostly Indian people doing H-1B visas, and it's not for these jobs that people can't fathom. He's lying through his teeth like a scam artist. But I'm the bad guy. Someone said Dearborn is a distraction. In some ways, it's a warning, but in other ways, 100%. The people that are manufacturing the over hysteria of Dearborn are fake opposition. If there's two sides, right? Let's just say there's two sides. One of them is the left, and they say, we don't like you. We want to bring in more people. We want to replace you. We hate you. We want to raise your taxes and do everything wrong. Clearly the left is not your friend, right? But they're not really pretending to be. Unless you're like a liberal getting tricked by their social justice, no Republican, conservative, libertarian, small government guy, nobody thinks the left is good. They're the obvious enemy, right? What if I told you the right started the wars purposely, created a refugee crisis purposely, flooded Europe and America for their donor owners purposely, switch the demographics purposely, destroy Christian values in your country purposely, but then get on Fox News and tell you that they're Christian conservatives fighting for your freedom in other countries? Who's worse? You could say the left, but really, it's like the bigger threat to Republicans is Republicans, because they still think that they're fighting for them, but they're doing the same thing as the left. They just won't be honest about it. They're doing all the same things that the left are doing, just sneakier. So that's why I talk about the right more. You know the left. You can listen to any low IQ retard on Fox News or Newsmax tell you about the left all day. But they're not going to tell you about what I just told you about because they're facilitating the people that are doing it. They're running cover essentially for that. They're not going to tell you that. It's not a mistake that they did this. And it wasn't just liberals that did this. It's the neocons also. The people that Trump hires, the people that Trump works for, the people that Trump works with, it's them. He's not above it. And this is like the future of America essentially depends on, in my opinion, and once again, this is just like a guess. It's not like a guaranteed fact or anything because the future, only God really knows. But in my calculation, the future of America relies on how, and I say this because the left, I'm pretty much giving up hope that they're going to do anything in the next 20, 30 years. Like, I just think they're so backwards and goofy and retarded on so many topics that they're not going to help us, right? So I'm writing off the left as the savior of America. I'm not going easy on them because I think they're better. I think they're objectively worse, and their mindset is so far from reality that they're not going to be able to fix America in the way that it needs to be fixed. So then you have Republicans, Trumpers, conservatives, independents, moderates, swing voters. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole group that voted for Trump and put him in the White House that could still win elections, right? The future of America depends on, do these people wake up and realize that Trump is fake opposition? I'm not asking you to vote for the Democrats. I'm not asking you to run and, support them. I'm just saying, how long is it going to take our side to figure out that Trump is fake opposition? If he didn't win the election, I think it would have took 10 years because now there's 4 more years of, the Democrats are screwing us over. We got to go run to the polls and vote for Trump again. So I think him winning actually saves us 4 years. And that's part of my hope. Now that how long does it take for people to realize that Trump is not on our side, that Trump works for the donors, that Trump works for the neocons, that Trump is one of the biggest Zionists in the world? Is it going to take 5 months, 2 years, 5 years? The longer it takes Republicans, the more screwed we are. And even when Trump's out of office, he's going to try to play kingmaker. Like, people need to break their brain away from Trump slop worship, because when you worship Trump, everything that he does and everything that happens, instead of going through the realm of like what's really happening, it goes through the realm of like, why should I think it's better than it really is because of Trump? It's like if Hillary Clinton locked the country down, sold vaccines, and said that she was proud of Operation Warp Speed, you wouldn't be like doing mental gymnastics in your head to try to figure out how it's secretly a good thing. If Mitt Romney did it, you wouldn't think it's secretly a good thing. Only Donald Trump breaks everybody's brains because a bunch of paid off influencers are telling you that, and then you just believe these retards. Oh, he saved the world from an 8-year lockdown. You're brainwashed. If you made any excuses for the socialist, evil pharmaceutical collaboration with the government called Operation Warp Speed that was in no way, shape, or form capitalist and completely horrible, if you made any excuses for Operation Warp Speed, you're brainwashed. Liberals are not the only ones that could get brainwashed. People that like Mike Pence are not the only ones that can get brainwashed. Trump supporters can be brainwashed too, and they are brainwashed. It's just wake up, up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, patriots, patriots, patriots. Wake up. How long is it going to take people? Oh, he's fighting Venezuela over the elections because the election machine was invalid. Wake up. Wake up. If Mike Pence did the same regime change that Trump was doing in Venezuela because it's a plan from 15 years ago, are you going to say Mike Pence is going after Maduro because of an election machine? You're an idiot. You're brainwashed. The future of America depends on, does our side wake up in the next 5 months, 5 years, 15 years? Like, when are people going to drop this whole thing? As soon as the majority of Republicans is able to say, we know what you're doing, we don't agree with it, we don't support it, things can shift. But as long as Trump is playing the court jester, just bouncing around from topics and people are like giving him passes for it, the elites and the donors that have dumped billions of dollars into Trump are going to look at that and be like, we can't afford for this guy to go. Yeah, we could let the Democrats win for 4 years, but if it ever gets back to the Republicans, we need somebody in the Trump orbit to do all this stuff because this is perfect. Republicans buy this guy. Republicans got tricked by George Bush for 8 years, and then they woke up. But it's too late. And then they got Trump. If you fall for Trump, they're going to give you Trump again or somebody in Trump's orbit. Sorry, I had a little itch. Not a Zelensky itch, just a normal itch. But, and then if you wake up to Trump, they're going to try to give you someone different. But then you got to not get tricked by that too. It's literally that simple. But I don't know if people want to do it or not. They think what I'm saying is a black pill. It's literally a white pill. It's like lying to yourself and getting tricked over and over. I sometimes laugh because it's like I see some people, they literally get fooled all the time. And this is the cycle of them getting tricked, right? They believe somebody who's obviously tricking them. I try to show a report proving it factually untrue with evidence and I always try to like explain it so everybody can see. They get mad that I showed them that because they don't want to believe their own eyes and ears, and they want to like trust in something else. That's somebody that's lying, some news host or podcaster or Trump. 2 years goes by. What I said happens. I'm not shocked because it was always obvious. They're stunned, right? The people that got tricked are stunned. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe it. What the heck? It's like, how is that a white pill? You look like a maniac to me. You know what I'm saying? Another example that I was one of the only ones right on, this one, me, Robert Barnes, a few other people, Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett was never, she's better than Ketanji Jackson Brown, but she was never a good choice for the Supreme Court. She was pro-lockdown and proven to be pro-mandate before she was in office. So myself and Robert Barnes, before she was announced as our Supreme Court justice and confirmed, we were saying, hey guys, it's probably not a good idea to support this pro-lockdown Supreme Court justice when we're in a lockdown. Probably not a good idea. 99% of Trump slop influencers told you, oh my gosh, she's a hero. The left, the left hates her, so she must be a hero. She held up a notepad. She's really owning the left. And me and Robert Barnes said, she's pro-lockdown. We're in a lockdown. This is not a good Supreme Court justice pick. You should lobby or leverage your support for Trump to make him pick someone else. Nobody did that. Nobody covered it accurately. Nobody did the reporting. So nobody knew unless you followed me or Robert Barnes. Then you knew, and you were 2 years ahead. And then as soon as Amy Coney Barrett votes in favor of vaccine mandates for college students, Amy Coney Barrett voted multiple times against conservative values. Then, as soon as she does that, all the influencers that said she was awesome were like, I can't believe it. She tricked me. She tricked us. We got tricked. I think we got tricked by Amy Coney Barrett. You got tricked. We didn't all get tricked. You got tricked, and 99% of Republicans got tricked because they follow 99% of you idiot Republican influencers and not someone like me or Robert Barnes, who, by the way, blocked me. I like Robert Barnes, but he blocked me because he was like freaking out over Zionism for like 2 years. Now it seems like he agrees with me, but when he didn't, he was like bugging out at what I was trying to say, but whatever. You get what I'm saying? How is it a white pill to cheer over Amy Coney Barrett like a little girl at a Taylor Swift concert? You're embarrassing. And then 2 years later, freak out because you're just so shocked. None of this is shocking. Nothing about anything that's happening is shocking. None of it. I lose no sleep over it. I don't ever get surprised. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would be you want to know what would surprise me? If Trump actually eliminated income tax, that would surprise me. I would be like, oh my gosh, Trump did one of the greatest things in modern history. He's a hero. But if I could make betting odds in my head over it, I would guess 99% chance Trump doesn't do that. If he does, like I said, I'll go buy a MAGA hat. If he eliminates income tax in America, one of the biggest scams in modern history, I'll get a MAGA hat and I'll wear it. If he doesn't, he just lied in order to put tariffs on countries that don't support Israel or Ukraine. Someone said he blocked me after he debated Fuentes. You talking about Robert Barnes? I think that's when he blocked me too. He was like, dude, that was a bad debate for Robert Barnes. He was like spurging out, saying the dumbest stuff. But it seems like he's had a change of heart and he seems super honest about that topic now, but whatever. Dude, James Lindsay is a disaster, dude. That guy. I'm pretty sure James Lindsay blocked me too, but that's for the better. That guy is a weirdo, but whatever. Someone said, come to find out, Trump administration traded TikTok for 2 million Chinese visas. I don't know if that was part of the trade, but I wouldn't be shocked. And who got TikTok? Was it Oracle? Is Oracle owned by Larry Ellison? Did Larry Ellis's son just buy CBS? Did CBS just hire Barry Weiss? You know what I'm saying? It's like, imagine not knowing what I just said, right? There's two types of people watching this. And if you don't know, I'm not shaming you. Like maybe it's your first time watching. Maybe this is really heavy stuff. But it's like, if you know what I just said, that TikTok was handed to the Ellison family through Oracle, CBS was handed to the Ellison family through David Ellis's company, and they hired Barry Weiss. I just saved you 10 years of acting shocked when CBS does I can't believe they did that. They're going to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's a country that this is being done for. Some would say it's America. Smart people would know it's not, you know? Let's read a few comments. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. I'm going to read some super chats and comments. You guys have any questions for me? I know I haven't been live much, so I'm down to answer some questions and do some stuff. Let me just show you guys this beforehand real quick. Let me say USA made code 10%. I'm just going to put this on the screen and show this, and then I'll get to your comments and questions. So I got, sorry. Let me just grab these real quick. So I told people that I probably wasn't going to do like a Black Friday sale, which I didn't. I did a Cyber Monday sale, and I can only really do 10% this year. Let me explain why. I got these black God Bless beanies. I got blue God Bless beanies. These are obviously fire for the winter. And then I also have these new made, and everything's made in America, by the way, but I got these all custom made. They got an American flag on the back. You could see this one says God is great. This one says God bless. This one says God bless. So I got these three. And I had them custom made in America. These hats, these ones are made in America. I wouldn't say they're custom made, but they're blanks made in America. So it's all, I mean, these are all made in America, but what I'm saying for these hats is like they didn't even have like blanks made in America. So I had to get these custom made, but I got 10% off. The code is USA made. I got a lot of new shirts too. Not just funny. I do have some funny ones, but I also have some like cool ones. This is my I Love Boomer shirt, but everything's made in the USA because my profit margins are not the greatest because I pay top, like I don't do cheap, stuff that costs $5. I do like the good stuff that costs way more. I can't afford to do like a 40% discount or else I'd literally go broke. So not literally go broke, but not really make money. So 10% off, USA made, dreamrare.com. Thank you to everybody who shopped yesterday. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, I'm going to answer some questions now. Someone said, great work as usual, Anomaly. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you, Mary Patriot. All right, let's go up. I'm starting to think this whole country might be a scam thanks to government. I mean, there's just here's my problem. I'll get to some more comments, but I'm really passionate about this. We get taxed like 40%. I mean, if you're in the top bracket, it's in the 30s, maybe you could get it down, but still there's a reason it's going down. It's because you're spending money on your business. So it's not really like they're giving you a discount. It's just like you can't pay with money you don't have, but it's like you get taxed 30 to 40%. Then you get taxed on property tax. You buy a house, it's tax, sell tax, every tax. You buy a coffee, it's tax. This is tax, that is tax. You buy something, it's tax, sell it. Everything's tax. So real tax is probably close to 50%. They're just stealing half of our money, right? And in return, they're spraying pesticides on all of our crops with PFAs now. That's what they approved because Trump has a bunch of lobbyists in charge of the board that votes on whether that should be approved or not. It's a huge scandal. Nobody's talking about it. With that being said, half of our country is like obese. There's gambling ads and disgusting pharmaceuticals all over all of our this country is an example of money is not the truth necessarily. Yes, it's better to be rich than poor as a country. I don't want to be broke. I don't want this country to fall apart. But money doesn't buy everything. That's why people believe in God and religion and have morals. Like a rich country where everybody's fat and sick and pornography, gambling ads, and pharmaceuticals are everywhere, that's rich financially. We are a very poor country spiritually. That's why I don't give a crap about other countries and what they're doing, because I don't think our country can fix their country if our country can't even fix our country. And if our country is wicked, immoral, and corrupt, why should we spread that to other countries? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're going to other countries and we're trying to spread filth. We're trying to spread the same filth we're spreading to our people and convince you that it's somehow a Western value. It's not a Christian value. It was never an American value. So what's this new Judeo-Christian West they keep talking about? Because I don't know. The pornography doesn't come from the Christian side. And I'm not saying that like Christians are perfect or anything. I'm just being honest. It's like, what are we doing to our own country? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. We're being controlled by people that either hate us or just corrupt. Like Trump is like the most immoral. I'm not going to say the most immoral, but he's just like, he's evil. He doesn't care about any of these things. He's not even trying to like free our country from all of these wicked immoralities. He's trying to spread them to other countries and just do everything for money. Trump, everyone's like, oh, Trump's this biblical character. He's that biblical character. I'm not even going to reference the Bible because I'm not trying to be a false prophet right now. But I'm just like, if Trump was a character in any book, Trump would be the character that shows you that even with all the money in the world, you're not a free man because he doesn't use his own money. He takes Mira Madelson's money and other people's money. So even though Trump's a billionaire and the president of the United States, he's still not a free man. Even though Trump's doing all this stuff for money, it's not even making America better because money's not everything, and Make America Healthy Again. And RFK was supposed to do some of this stuff and they're doing some of it. But unfortunately, also, there's a lot of snakes in the EPA and others. So every one or two good things that RFK does, they do 10 worse things for the country, like the pesticide thing. I'll try to find my pesticide video for you. I think I have it in here. Let me try to find it real quick. Let me see. Would it be this one? Yeah. Okay. Let me play this one real quick for you folks. I've seen nobody report on this. And if you know anybody, like I don't need credit for this. Literally, someone could just take all the information from my video, make it on their own, and not even credit me. I don't need credit. I don't want credit. I'll take it if someone shares my video, but it's just like people need to look into this and people need to say something to RFK and Trump, because if they spray all of our crops with this bullshit, like we're just going to get sicker, fatter, and it's going to be devastating for our country. But here's this report real quick. They're approving this new pesticide with PFAs and most people don't even know about it. Watch this quick report. So I saw this post online saying the EPA has approved a new pesticide that contains PFAs or forever chemicals to be used on vegetables like lettuce, broccoli, and potatoes. Oh no. Obviously RFK Jr. campaigned with Trump against stuff like this. He's in charge of the HHS, not the EPA. But still, we need Make America Healthy Again people and RFK himself to call out Trump's administration, because between this and their Pfizer deals, they're humiliating RFK Jr.'s base. The Guardian did a good article about this. They said, Trump officials set to approve forever chemical as pesticide ingredient. Critics say that they'd put food and water supply at risk. Let's keep reading. During his 2024 campaign, Trump and his ally, now Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., promised to rein in the use of dangerous pesticides, as everybody knows, but the EPA has loosened oversight and is accelerating pesticide approvals. The article points out that the top 4 position in the Trump EPA Chemical Safety Office that includes the pesticide division are held by former pesticide and chemical industry lobbyists. I cross-referenced this and I asked, is that true? And I found out that it absolutely was, which is not good, and RFK Jr. and his supporters need to talk about this. This sucks. The Guardian said PFAs are a class of about 16,000 compounds most frequently used to make products water, stain, and grease resistance. They have been linked to cancer, birth defects, decreased immunity, high cholesterol, kidney disease, and a range of other serious health problems. They are dubbed forever chemicals because they do not naturally break down in the environment. I did my own research in journalism about this to figure out which companies are going to benefit from this and have they donated to Trump or the GOP. Apparently, all 3 have donated to Trump or the GOP, not surprising. And even though everybody thinks Trump is so rich he doesn't need anyone's money, besides taking over $500 million from the Adelson family, like I point out all the time, Trump broke records taking hundreds of millions of dollars from corporation for his inauguration. And as somebody that leans right and can't stand the Democratic Party or Joe Biden or Kamala, I think they would have been worse. Trump has been horrific this term, and people need to stop going to fancy ballroom dinners with RFK and Donald Trump and actually do their job if they care about anything they say they care about, because they're both underachieving completely, selling us out to corporations and, to be honest, foreign countries, as Trump screams about the most honorable and honest people in Congress. Let me know what you think in the comment section. God bless you. Thanks for listening. And are influencers on our side and my side actually going to do their job this year? Or are they just going to go to fancy Mar-a-Lago parties, take selfies, and refuse to call out the politicians that are essentially socially lobbying them? RFK Jr. once sued Monsanto. I'm sure he's probably afraid to challenge Trump because Trump is so petty and vindictive, but this is a bad look. Hope you appreciate my journalism, because not many are actually doing their job anymore. Yeah, so I mean, it's like, that report says everything you guys need to know. Stuff like that's such a bummer, because spraying that on all the food all the time is just not the play. And then people say, oh, well, we need to do that. You definitely don't need to do that. You could make less money. Let me give you an example, right? With my shop. I'm not going to say exactly how much these are, but like I said, they're not cheap. They're definitely not under $10, right? You could get hats under $10 easily. You could probably get a hat like this that's way shittier, that feels like paper, that isn't made in America, and you could probably pay like $5 for it. Then you could charge $20 or $30 for it and make 4, 5 times, 6 times the profit, whatever. I don't, it's like I could do that just like everybody. I could do the cheap route. I could do everything easy, but it's like I want to get the best hat I could get that's made in the United States, so I have to pay top dollar for it. Can I do it? Absolutely. Am I going to be richer if I do it financially? No, I'm not. But whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like, how much money do you need? I could get money another way, or I hope I can. I don't, it's just something I don't want to morally, I don't want to do if I can avoid it. For the food companies, you could look at how much they're making, billions of dollars. They got CEOs making hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't think they could give you food that's not poisoned? If it's hurting animals and flies that, that land on it, what's it doing to you? Obviously, it's not like killing you necessarily, because we're bigger animals to some extent, but it can't be good. And maybe it washes away, but like maybe it doesn't. So that, like, people that say, oh, they can do it. They would just make less money. Nobody wants to make less money. Recently, there was like a whole little scandal, and I'm going to speak on it just because I've talked about this for years, and I'm not throwing shots at anybody, because some of those people I have no issues with. But there was a big scandal where a bunch of, I wouldn't even say it's scandal, it's just a thing. A bunch of influencers, that are like, critical of Israel, they were selling this like obscure gambling website and posting these gambling ads. And a lot of their audiences kind of turned on them and said, like, how could you post this gambling stuff? And part of their logic was like, listen, we got to make money. And, we don't want to be broke, and we want to fight, like the pro-Israel side. And in order to do that, we got to have money. And here's my thoughts without throwing shade, because everybody's allowed to do what they want to do. I've said this for years. I've told people this for years. I will never sell a gambling ad to anybody. Have I gambled before? Absolutely. Have I sports bet? Absolutely. Do I think it's a good habit? Absolutely not. Do I think it's healthy for people? No. Do I think it's addicting? Can be. Do I think it's terrible for humanity and America and young men? 100%. So even though I've done it, even though, I like, I'm not necessarily like against it, I would be totally fine with the government banning all gambling. I think they probably should. And I will never, no matter how much someone pays me, $10,000, $50,000, $500,000, $500 million, $5 billion. I will never sell a gambling ad to somebody. I will never take money to promote gambling. I would literally feel disgusted. That's me personally, right? Other people, maybe they don't have that moral belief, so that they have no problem making money doing it. I do. And this is my issue with people in this country, is everybody just wants to make money. Everybody just wants to do anything they can to make money. And it's like, at that point, I do believe, and this is not directed at anybody, because if you believe it's not that bad, it's one thing. I think it is that bad. I think it's horrible for the country, horrible for humanity, horrible for men, and it doesn't need to be this accessible, and it's way over promoted. It's way over promoted. I don't want to be part of that problem, because I think it's a problem. But nobody else seems to really feel that way. Nobody else. Everybody's like, well, yeah, I'll sell it. Well, yeah, it's okay. They spray PFAs on pesticides because they'll make more money. Oh, it's okay. They did this. Oh, I took a trip to Israel. Oh, I took a trip here. Oh, I'm getting paid. Oh, well, they're paid. Oh, the donor paid me, so I'll do what the donor said. Oh, well, they gave me they gave me $1 million for my campaign, so now I got to do this. That's the problem with this country, like, and Trump is like an extreme caricature example of a guy who thinks money is everything, that has no morals or values at all, that will take any money, do any H-1B visa, and strike any deal with any pharmaceutical company if it adds another zero to somebody's bank account. What are you going to do? All I could do is just be the best version of myself. But like, that's the sort of stuff. Yes, the government is responsible. Yes, this and that, but the change starts from within, and if you want to make a trend cool where it goes widespread, you got to take a little bit of risk. I'm personally like disgusted by most athletes in this country. Athletes are making tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, right? All these athletes have generational money. They literally could start 20 businesses and employ 15 people and try to like create the new trend that helps America. What are they all doing for the most part? Not all. They all, Subway, Eat Fresh, gambling app, gambling app, gambling app, Subway, gambling app, Domino's, gambling app. It's like, did none of you have any soul? You just want to make any money and exploit poor and middle class people in this country and young men? No athlete should be selling gambling to their audience. No man should be doing that. Like I said, I like to sports bet. My goal for next year is to not do it at all, because I just think it's a bad habit. It's not good financially, but also it's just not good time-wise. There's a better spend of time than even thinking or doing that. But it's like, despite doing it and having done it, I would never sell it. Never. Why? That the short you want to share, it's on my Instagram, Dream Rare, DRE. That's my Instagram. You can go on there and you can find it. It's like my second or third video on there, and you can share it. But like, all these people have all this money and they just don't do anything. Could you imagine if I had like $100-200 million? You think I would be doing Subway ads to make sure I got $300 million, or a gambling app? No, dude, I would be trying to like start a company. And to, I'm not saying he's definitely not the perfect person, but like, Kanye had a lot of money and was trying to do interesting stuff. He was like building domes and trying to make like better housing and stuff. I'm not saying it went through. Even his shoe, his original Yeezy shoe, was like a higher price shoe, but at the same time, it was built better than all these cheap, lazy shoes they're doing. I'm just giving you like one example. It's like, there's a guy who had money that was like, let me try to use my money to like do something creative and do something different. Everyone else like, let me just sell, canola oil slop to my audience and just make more money. Like that has to hurt your soul as a man at some point. Like, and donating to some like fake charity that takes 90% of the money isn't like, you're not doing any sort of service. Like, it's not. Someone said Anomaly complains about the government, but the libertarians were even against the drug laws. Why don't you Don't you say you were libertarian at first? I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't get what you're mad at. I don't give myself a label, but I agree with libertarians on a lot of things, but I wouldn't know. I'm not a libertarian. I'm not a registered libertarian, you know? I'm so like I don't know. You trying to blame me for something the Libertarian Party did? I'm not affiliated with them. Someone said a Walmart manager told me recently that Walmart was offering bonuses for their employees to take experimental injections. Not surprised. I mean, like, this is the country we're living in. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, but America can do better for its youth, for its future. This is what I'll say too, is this is not normal. They're trying to convince you that evil is normal, that Sodom and Gomorrah is normal. 95% of like human history, people didn't do this sort of stuff. Yeah, there were always pockets and like collapses of nations and stuff, but most of human history wasn't just like injecting, like vaccines weren't even invented. But, at the same time, some could say that they did this or they did that. Personally, I believe that clean sanitation did more for health and longevity than they did personally. But, do I ever watch Gypsy Crusader? I don't. I want to say I've never heard of that person until like a month or two ago, but I've seen them like popping up a lot. I want to say like on Jake Shields' podcast or maybe Sneeko or I don't know. I've seen like a clip in my feed of that, but I can't say I really like ever watched a stream or anything. But for the first time I've seen like clips of that guy, and I could tell that he's like getting popular on like streaming. Anomaly, do you think this looks like what could possibly be the apocalypse? I mean, I'm not like a negative person. I like the truth and I like getting to the bottom of it. To me, that's like more fun than lying to myself. But I'm not. I don't. I'm trying to take part in the Renaissance. I'm not trying to predict the apocalypse right now. I'm trying to more play my role of trying to make things better. But I will say I did write a song called Apocalypse when I was like 19 or 20. If you ever go listen to it, I think it's one of my best poetry songs. Obviously, the recording's not great because I didn't have a microphone, but if you look up Anomaly Apocalypse, I think it's one of my best songwriting, and it's an original beat. I think it's one of my best songs ever made. So I was inspired to write that, and it was kind of a warning to humanity. I think it's pretty fire. Someone said, is Sneeko legitimate? I don't watch him enough to really know everything he's talking about, but I tend to like him. I don't dislike him. I've met him once. We didn't really talk for that long, but he was nice to me. But outside of that, I guess I do this. So it's like when I see like Sneeko, sometimes I see things that I think he's being really brave about and he's telling the truth. Other times I disagree sometimes with what he's saying, but it's one of those things where I don't know. I don't look to people like that for opinions. I have my own. So overall, I tend to not dislike Sneeko or anything. I'm not like a big fan where I see all this stuff, but is he legitimate? I don't really know. Someone would have to watch him all the time. I would say in the grand scale of like people doing things online, I definitely think he's one of the more authentic and more unfiltered people. Like you got to remember, like 95% of streamers, they're not talking about anything. They're not taking any risks. They're not saying anything. So, I think he's an interesting character for sure. But I don't know. And I see like a lot of people in that space, like I'm not trying to like put him in a space, but it's like there's always like a lot of people saying this about that and him about, like beefing and stuff. I like to speak what I believe, but I don't like to start random arguments with people online. Like I don't, unless there's like an actual reason for it, I don't partake in that. Someone said, I lost my money on casino machines. You should go fund me to cure my idiocy. You're asking me to fund you? I don't get what you're saying. Someone said, Anomaly, you're complaining about gambling and our government made it illegal until the 80s. Libertarians are against government control, even drug laws. Oh, I get what you're saying now. I always tell people I agree with libertarians on like income tax and a lot, but I'm more Christian conservative than most libertarians. So as far as like if they want to legalize everything, because I'm not a libertarian. I say I'm libertarian-ish on a lot of topics, but I'm not like a full-blown anarchist. I'm more Christian and conservative than that. I'm fine with moral laws that get rid of things that are unnecessary. And my solution for gambling personally is I think it's okay to do it in Las Vegas or a few different places, but I think the apps are bad news. I think the apps and just like being able to gamble from anywhere at any time on anything, I don't think that's good for humanity. So if they said all gambling's outlawed, I wouldn't lose sleep. I'd be like, that's probably good. If they said, no more gambling on everything, like you have to go to Las Vegas to gamble, I'd be fine with that. I'm not I'm not an ideologue when it comes to like anarchy or anything, but like I said, there's overlaps I have with some people that do think that. Someone said I lose a lot, but I make my own mistakes. I hear you. Well, they say it's a blessing or a lesson. Someone said brother gambled till he was homeless, winning. It's sad. I mean, it's just not it's too accessible right now and the ads are everywhere. For myself, like I'm a very competitive person. I like to compete. So it's like sports, I don't really care that much about unless it's like a UFC fighter that I kind of know or like my friend's a coach of a fighter. I root for people I know, but outside of that, like it's hard to watch sports games without wanting to gamble because there's 50,000 gambling ads everywhere and it's one of those things where it's like if I'm watching a Thursday night game, who cares, But if you have money on it, it's a little more exciting. So, you could say obviously like personal responsibility is important and you have to be able to say no. But every ad, like this isn't normal. When in the 90s, like it wasn't like every ad was like gambling, 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 vaccine, 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 self-injectable, Ozempic, like Monjaro. It's like, dude, this country's disgusting now. So, you know, you could think what you want, but I think it needs to be drastically scaled back. Drastically scaled back. Someone said, except for Nevada, all gambling was illegal until the 80s. I'm sure it was much better. I don't think gambling has really improved very many lives. I'm sure it's hurt. It's hurt probably like 90 something percent of the people who've done it, and it's helped maybe like 1%. So, I'm not an anarchist. I believe in moral law. Someone said, so that I always wanted to be a professional poker player too, Kirk, growing up. But it's like watching TV and seeing a guy make $1 million playing poker when you like to play poker. That my dream was like, I wanted to be a poker player. Then I just wanted to rap and I guess make videos or something. But, Texas Hold'em is fun, I guess. It's just, you got to be good at it. You got to win, got to get lucky. Someone said 5% of gamblers make money. I'm surprised it's that high if that's the truth. But yeah, that makes sense. 95. Yeah. Someone said they're ramming it down our throats with BetMGM, ESPN, DraftKings. Dude, anybody that watches sports or even like I like sports to watch on YouTube. Everybody who covers sports on YouTube is selling gambling apps. It's like you can't watch sports without gambling. It's annoying, it's too much. But like I'm not a perfect person, but I'm just playing my role. I think it's over promoted. I will never promote it, right? I could probably make a lot of money selling gambling ads at some point in my life, but I'm just not going to do it, whether that's 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, 4 figures, 5 figures. I'm not doing it. I've made that decision. I feel great with it. There's other ways to make money, and I'll figure it out. Commercials during sports is nothing but gambling and fake farm ads. Bro, it's the worst. Brother was dog races and scratch offs. Dude, that's dog races and scratch offs is crazy. He was on his Mike Vick. He was Mike Vicking out there. Yeah, that's scratch offs. Just that's crazy work, but whatever. I mean, I guess all gambling is pretty bad, but to think you could win on a scratch off and spend that much money on them, it's not good. Someone said stocks are gambling for most people. I hear you. I mean, Crypto I think gambling is different than stocks and crypto, but it is a gamble to some extent if you don't know the timing of it. Also, there's factors that are outside of your control, like that could happen. So I think gambling is worse than investing, but I could see the argument for that being gambling too. Someone said my wife made me quit fantasy sports teams. I got addicted. It is addicting. It's just one of those things too, where it's like there's just always a better spend for your time. It's fun, you know what I'm saying? It can be fun, but like, is it really? It's one of those things. Like, it's like playing video games is fun, but is it really that fun? Like, there's other ways to have fun, There's healthier ways to have fun. So it's good to have a wife that gets you off your bad habits. I think that's any resolution, goals, hopes, predictions for the new year. Resolutions, I haven't made one yet. Well, no, I just told you I want to spend $0 gambling, like not a single dollar, not a single second. I don't want to bet on any sports or play any slot machine. When I go on cruises too, like I play the slots too much. It's like my vacation, but it's not a good habit. It's just like overall, it's like not even fun. So that's one of my resolutions, like no money spent on gambling. Goals would be to find somebody to work with, so I have someone to work with me, so I don't have to do everything myself and try to like expand what I'm doing and just work smarter. Hopes, I don't know. I don't really have the hopes. Predictions, I don't have any predictions off the top too, but for sure I want to work smarter. And it's always a balance, because like one thing I learned too, like one of my goals in business this year was like I want to get more sponsors. I understand that people are making 6-7 figures off sponsors. I have a big enough audience to make that much off sponsors, but I just haven't been able to do it. And I worked with someone that fed me a few options. I guess I'm just really picky, so it's hard for me to make all that money. So I guess it's like when you have like hopes or like goals, like business goals, like I get, this was a good year, I guess, but it's like I really wanted to level up and make more, but there's always a cost. So there's still a way for me to make more and not take certain sponsorships, but you get what I'm saying? It's like some of my goals, like they weren't what I thought they were when I got to there. So if I could find companies that I believe in and businesses that I think are solid, then I'll do it. But I got offered a few, and I'm just too picky for a lot of these like companies. They want people that are like, just sell this for that, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like I had an offer for maybe $3,000 for one Instagram reel. 3,000, maybe two for 6,000 or 2 for 5,000. I don't know. That's a lot of money for barely doing anything. But it's like when I look at the product they want me to sell and I think about it, I'm just like, nah. I want to, if I sell a product, I want to really like believe in it. I don't want to just like do it. I don't know. Maybe if I was more desperate, I would have done it, but I turned that down at some point, at least just like for that specific thing. I was like, if you come back and we could work on a different product that you guys have, it's cool. It's not that they had bad products. I just, I was just like, someone said, I know where you could get 7,000 for a post. There's people with way smaller audiences than me making way more money. It's out there. I guess, if I work with the right people, they could look for me, but it is what it is. I don't know. I've kind of learned too. It's like my job is very sporadic. So it's like, even on like Facebook and other platforms, it like goes up and down all the time. So I don't know. It's like, it is what it is. All these podcasts are sponsored by Blue Chew. What's your moral take on dick pills anomaly? Morally, I haven't really thought about it, but would I sell dick pills? No, probably not. Even if they came to me and were like, Anomaly, here's $20,000 to sell dick pills. Do you want to do it? Do I want 20,000 more dollars? Of course. Who doesn't? Am I going to, is that worth selling dick pills to me? No. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm like again. Like I don't know that I think it's immoral. Me personally, I'm not trying to get too specific, but like I'm not old enough to need dick pills, or I'm not unhealthy enough to need dick pills. So it's not something that really makes sense to me. Like maybe if I was older and my dick didn't work or something, then I would be like, oh, this makes sense. But like to me, it doesn't make sense as a product. And like to sell, I mean, if they were like, here's $200,000 to do it, I probably still wouldn't do it. But it's like for how much they're probably trying to pay me, it's like, no. Like I said, I wouldn't do something I didn't believe in for money, but it's like I don't have like a strong I don't have a strong belief about that. I'd have to look at the ingredients and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the ingredients in that? What's in that? What are they giving to people that makes their dick work if it didn't work? I don't like. Is there side effects? You know, I'd have to spend an hour researching if I even thought it was good for you or not. I have no idea. I've never looked at that. You know, and hopefully it's a long time before I have to think about that. Hopefully I never have to think about that. That would be awesome. But you know, life does funny things, I guess, to some people. Someone said on sale. You talking about mine? Let's see if anybody bought any of my products while I'm here. I'm gonna look at my Shopify real quick. Let's see. Did anybody buy anything while I'm here? Oh yeah, somebody bought something. Thank you to the one person who bought something. That's it. I'm just kidding, but thank you. Let's look at Israel's housing crisis. I know nothing about it, but Israel's an interesting country. I'm sure they have like problems of their own as far as like, you know, they're bringing people in from other countries to live there and trying to like make them nationals. Like I'm sure they have, you know, they have issues with stuff, but I'm more concerned about our housing crisis personally, but I'm no disrespect to anyone else. It's like I'm not going to do a video on like Argentinian housing crisis. I can't even like afford a house in this country. It's like, you know, someone said Anomaly is just a humble hat salesman. I do what I can. Thank you, Milo. I do what I can with my many hats. I did a joke yesterday. I put them all on. I was like, I'm a man of many hats. I thought it was very funny. Debatable though. It didn't get the laughs I thought it would, but that's okay. You know. Someone said super. I'm not answering that, but that's funny. That was comedy. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Someone said Israel's a great place to live. You get free education, free healthcare, free welfare, free housing, all paid for by the U.S. taxpayer. I don't know if we pay for all of it, but our money, you know, or deals that they get on weapons don't hurt. Someone said my mom worked at a hospital. They told me they could put a bag in your blank and you could pump it up. Old technology. Dude, there's way too much talk about this in this one, but yeah, I'm sure. I guess that's the natural method. Could you imagine like selling dick pumps though? Dick pumps. You don't need the pills. These are all natural. You know, it's old fashioned. This is the way to get it up. It's like, you know, everyone gets older, but I'm fully functioning, and I just really want to take good care of myself, and hopefully that's not the thing I think about for a long time, but who knows. Belinda said, "You're so cute, Anomaly." Thank you, Belinda, on Facebook. I appreciate it. Take all the compliments I could get out here. What housing crisis does Israel have? They just take any Palestinian house they want, somebody said. Oh man, dude, that's hate speech, aka funny, aka probably true, aka wrong, aka I condemn you, aka I agree with you, aka I hate you, aka I just went on a Ben Shapiro apology tour like Elon Musk and I learned my lesson. Someone said I got my Anomaly Boomer shirt. I love it. Dude, this is such a rare, like, I feel like, dude, like, have you gotten any compliments on this, wearing this around? Do boomers stop you? I haven't worn, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't worn this in public yet, because not only does it say I love boomers, but it's just like me on the shirt. I don't know. I don't feel like confusing people in real life to that extent. Maybe one day when I'm bored, I'll wear it, but it's more of a house shirt for me. Is Anomaly gonna have kids ever? For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have them artificially. I'm gonna, you know, do it in one of those like artificial labs. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I will. I just got to find the right person. I haven't yet, but that's okay. I dated people on and off like in my early 30s, but I think I was like too career driven, and too selfish to some extent, or at least just not thinking about it. And then like the last 2, 3 years, obviously I think about it a lot. So I never thought the way I do now when I was younger. But luckily, I mean, I'm not like, it is what it is. Like in one hand, it's like, do I wish or would it have been great to have like a traditional life like in my 20s or something if I would have thought that way? Yeah, but also, I went out, I definitely like achieved a lot. And I think, especially as a guy, as you get older, like it's better to be successful than not to be. I'm not saying it's like the be all end all, but I'm not in a bad spot. It could be worse. I definitely went to try to make a business and a career that like means something and lasts a long time. And I had to turn down a lot in order to get there. Someone said no regrets. Well, you spelled it wrong. Someone said that's a cute shirt. I'd wear it to the gym or something. The I Love Boomer shirt. Yeah, I don't know what people would say at the gym with that. You might get mixed signals. Someone said I need hardworking taxpayers to fund my hat collection. It's a human right. I wish these were on the SNAP benefits because then I could just sell these to welfare recipients. That would be fire. But it's not. It's not that essential. Allegedly, your boy Trump is making a trust fund for qualified American children. I don't know about that. Someone said local music store owner in his 40s. What does it say? Had a daughter in her 40s. I'm sorry, I missed that one. It like scrolled too fast, but I'm sure we'll be okay. Someone said Theo on here. His dad was 70. Yeah, I heard Theo's dad it was pretty old. I mean, Theo's single too, but he's almost I think he's like over 10 years older than me. So I mean, God bless Theo Vaughn, but I pray that the Lord finds me a wife and I have kids before his age. No, and no disrespect to him, but it's like he's rich, he's successful, women like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's always at events and stuff. I feel like it's a good time for it's a good time for him for sure. It's a good time for me too, but it's like I definitely I don't want to go 10 more years with no wife. That doesn't seem like the play. But, things have to be the right time. You don't want to like marry a Jezebel and have her steal all your money and stuff. So you don't want to force it or pick the wrong person. So I understand the thought process, the dynamic. Someone said if a woman takes blank pills, does her coochie get hard? Genuine question. That's something to ask like Grok or AI. I don't have that answer. Someone said looking healthy anomaly. You putting on some weight? I think I got fatter, but I don't know. Like I went to like a Turning Point event this year, and I'm not gonna say who, but I saw a chick I know, and she was like, "Oh, you look way." She was like, "You look way beefier in person," and I thought she meant I look strong. Maybe she meant I look fat, but I'm tall and I'm not like as small as I look on camera. So I think it was a compliment. But I don't know. I think my face is fatter than it used to be, but I weigh like 208 right now. So when I was younger, I was like skinnier and I weighed like between like 180 and 200. And then I hit like 215 and I was like, nah, that's too fat. I can't be 215. Even though I'm like 6'2", 6'3". So it's like, it's not that crazy of a weight, but I don't know. The fat just goes to my face. So I was like, now I'm 208, 210. And I kind of want to get to 200, like muscle, but just like no fat. So I think I'm in better shape than I was like 8 months ago, but I'm not really sure. I think like the older I get, the worse my metabolism gets. And it's like if I don't work out every single day and eat perfectly, I just get fatter because I'm eating like American food. So it's like I'll work out 4 times a week and eat like whatever and like you still like gain weight. And then you go to like overseas to like Argentina and you eat like garbage and you lose weight. Like I think we're being poisoned low key, but no excuses. So I think I'm like 208 now, but I'm like 6'2" or 6'3". So that's not crazy. But thank you for saying I look healthy. I don't know. It's like I want my face to be a little less fat though. That's just my personal opinion. Cause I look like I think you were complimenting me. I look good now. But when I film like Instagram reels, my chin goes out like that. And I just feel fat. I look fat. And I'm like, you guys want me to get married? No chick's going to want to marry me if I have a double chin in my Instagram. So I like do it from the up angle. I'm like, today, Patriots. And then they're like, ew, he got fat. So I can't have that happen. We gotta tone it up. Someone said wealthy people gain weight. I definitely was like skinny when I was broke because I could only afford to eat like once a day at like Panda Express. So, you know, I wouldn't say I'm rich, but I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. But here's the thing. I need to do better because taxes, uh, life, like the way life works, you realize like, all right, I'm not making like NFL money, and it's not that I need to, but it's like I don't want to ever have to be nervous. And eventually, I have to buy property, and when I buy property, they're gonna take all my money. So it's like I definitely gotta work hard over the next 2 years because I'm definitely doing well, definitely doing well enough to eat too much and get fat. So it is what it is. I'm not really fat though, but I would say like I want to be like jacked, you know what I'm saying? And like have like abs again. I feel like I'm getting closer and I almost have abs or kind of have abs, but I know I'm not fat, but you have to understand like I used to have like literally no body fat. Like whatever, I don't take a test, but like let's just say in my 20s, late 20s, I had like 5% body fat. That's not the reality. But like whatever it is, it's definitely more than it used to be. It's not like I'm fat, but it's just like my body fat has definitely gone up in the last like 3 years for sure. But I'm also stronger. My muscles are bigger. My legs are strong. Like I play a lot of sports, so it's like it's not like I look terrible or anything, but I just want to have less body fat, I'm aware. Like if you go look at like a picture of me on my Instagram playing soccer like 8 years ago, I had like washboard 6-pack abs. I don't have 6-pack abs anymore. I'm not fat, but it's like there's a layer in that area around it that just isn't non-existent. You know what I'm saying? You could say it's literally fat. So it's like, yeah, I'm not obese, but I wanna have like very less body fat. You got to strive for something. It's not like I want to just get fatter every year. It's like I'm either going one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just like do something extreme, not Ozempic, but like go the other way and get in better shape. Because I feel like at this age, you either get really fat or you're like that guy who works out all the time. If you're in your 20s watching this, it's real. I used to eat macaroni and cheese every day and I never got fat. And now it's like I eat perfectly, but they're poisoning the food. So I just, Someone said my husband does not gain weight ever. I don't understand how. Good genetics. He works out a lot. I don't know. He eats good. Could just be genetics. Some like people have different some people are like fat when they're like 10 and it's like what did that person do to be that fat? And then other people eat like shit when they're 10 and they're not fat. So we were promised handies from Starbucks 20 years ago. Instead we got poison. Dude, that's really funny. All right, Brett, that's a good one. I like that. Someone said I was never like that because I'm a woman. You ever seen a chick that just like doesn't even eat, and like I don't know. Women like to be mysterious, They're always like, "What's my moon cycle?" It's like, "Girl, I'm not an astronomer. I don't know what your moon cycle is." But then they're like, "I don't really eat." And then when everyone goes away, they like eat a cookie real quick, but they like to like pretend like they're not big eaters and you know what I'm saying? I don't women are always doing stuff that I don't understand. They like hang out and talk to each other about things that nobody cares about. It's just like, who cares? It's like, did you hear what Becky said last week? No, I've been ignoring her for years. But she said this about this. So she's ugly and broke. Who cares? Yeah, but it hurt my feelings. Why? It's just like, I don't have time for all that. They talk about nothing. Not all girls. Guys do it too sometimes, but She eats a box of Kleenex for dinner. Dang, that's crazy. Someone said, I've been considering multi-day fasting for cleaning. I think fasting is good if you could do it for sure. Thanks to the person who bought the second order. Appreciate you guys. Women are emotional creatures. Yeah, I'm just saying they're up to something, but yeah, no, I get it. I've always been real about stuff. Like, even to be honest, like, even when I was in high school, I remember like I never wanted to just like, I mean, some girls I was just friends with, but like I never wanted to pretend I was in the friend zone with a girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like pretend that. And then, but I really like I was always like pretty straightforward. It's like, I don't need a bunch of friends, you know? But it's like, if you're my friend, it's one thing, but I'm not gonna like, it's kind of like beta to just like pretend you're someone's friend for years, but then like try to use that as the angle to get them. I was never really into that. So now at this point, it's like, I get women. I understand they're doing their thing. So I've never been like a hater. I'm not like self-conscious or anything. Like, some guys are like total losers where like they get rejected and they like freak out. They're, oh, but I have a Porsche. But my daddy said I could get whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? They like freak out at chicks. I feel like I've never been that way. It's just like, if it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I've never really had issues like that because I don't like spurg out. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy that like spurgs out at a chick. I mean, especially if you're not like dating them or anything, it's like, what are you doing? So when you're married to somebody, it's different. You have to communicate, etc. But as far as like, I don't know. Sometimes I see these like manosphere things too, and I get what they're saying because a lot of it's true, but they're always like hating so hard, and it's just like, I don't know. I think it's psychological because sometimes some women like to like, they like to be like bothered and they don't like people that are too nice or something. Women are like, I want a guy that's riding a motorcycle. You're like, all right. There's a lot of women out there. So it's like, you can't like get hung up on what like a few of them think about you or whatever. It's like, if you say you go out and there's like thousands of women, what are you going to cry about? Like 5 chicks? Oh, well, she sucks. It's like, okay. So like, you're just going to spend time thinking about that? I don't get it. So I feel like it's always been chill. Obviously not everyone likes you and it doesn't always like go great, but I don't know. I'm not a high drama person. I can't really think of times I've ever had like a lot of drama in that category. That's the scary thing about getting married too, is like, marriage, it gets real. That's another thing too. It's not that I'm afraid of it, but it's just like, I want to do it right because I only want to do it once. And the stakes are high, There is no running away. There is no, we don't like each other. You got to make it last forever. So I want to really make sure I find a person that I know it'll go well with. But that's easier said than done. Someone said Anomaly is a gentleman. I would like to think I try to be. I'm definitely the type to hold open doors for people. And I don't like, obviously a woman I'll hold a door open for, but like, I'll hold a door open. Like, if there's a guy with a top hat or something Russian, I just like to be a nice guy. Like, I like to hold open doors and just, be a friendly person, just be nice to people. Like, I like to have fun, but can't win them all. How many women these days grow up with little or no fathers? Probably a lot. Someone said, been married for 20 years. It's not easy, but it's worth it. 100%, obviously. Obviously worth it. I mean, you can't just be like single forever because you're afraid of getting married. That's not the play. Someone said, older women, lots of baggage. Yeah, I mean, probably if you're single, yeah, I would think older women have more baggage and older dudes and stuff, but it's definitely easier, in my opinion, to be, I wouldn't say easier, but I think it's like better to be an older guy single. Like, it's easier than to be an older woman single. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I think, but I don't know if that's true. I'm sure like there's an element of like, what can I get versus what do I want? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're an older chick, you could be like, I want that, but they don't want that. And this person wants me, but I don't want that person. Then you got to start settling and stuff. But someone said, I got a divorce. My second last wife loves Jesus Christ. Okay. Politics messes thing up also. 100%. I don't want to make excuses, but it's like literally, you have to understand from like 20s to like early 30s or 30s, most women are liberal, right? In the 20s and 30s, most women are liberal. I'm talking like 80%, 70%. That's like 70 to 80% that probably don't want to change, and they don't even want to like talk to somebody that's not retarded. I mean, conservative or liberal. So now you have like a way smaller pool. And then a lot of the conservative chicks are not even really conservative, but also not just to blame them. It's just like everything's so fleeting nowadays, like it's really special when you get two, especially in this day and age. It's really special when you get two people that like each other, that appreciate each other and don't want to seek validation elsewhere. It's really hard to get to that point because back in the day, it's like, oh, there's my chick. We'll go to the movie theater and I'll call her from my landline. Now, if you're a guy or a girl that has multiple options and you're doing well, you have all these options. You have the whole world. You know what I'm saying? You could have like chicks hitting you up from different countries, different states, men hitting you up from different countries, different validation from social media nowadays that it's hard to like keep someone's attention unless they're like really all in with you. So I think, you're dealing with a smaller pool, but also that pool is, probably doesn't share your values. And even if they do, it's probably like they're all over the place just because it's like hard for some people to like just hone in and like stop, you know, using all their options. Someone said women will be obsolete when female robots become mainstream. I don't think women will ever be obsolete because like a robot will never do it for you the same way a woman will as far as like human touch. You know what I'm saying? Like conversation, you're talking to a robot, so even if it sounds real, deep down inside it's artificial. I don't think robots will replace women. They might clean your house better than some chick that just can't play a role and clean up, but no. Besides that, I mean, I don't think it could do everything. That's funny though. Uh Robots can't replace family. No, it's not going to replace women or men, I don't think. It'll replace women and men for like pissed off women and men that hate the opposite. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys that like hate women and like don't know how to like deal with them, so they're always like mad. And then there's women who like hate men. They can get robots, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't have to deal with women anymore. I don't have to deal with men." It's like, all right, well, there's your robot. It's like, but for the rest of us who don't want a robot, I don't think it's gonna do the trick, But there's a market out there for everybody, and I think robots are perfect for men and women who like just like won't admit that they're part of the problem and they're always complaining about the opposite sex. I think any guy or girl that always complains about the opposite sex is the problem. That's my theory. Like I've told people that I'm single and stuff when I'm single. By the way, I wasn't single the whole, like I had a girlfriend for a year. Like I've had different girlfriends during my career. I just don't like publicize all the time. But in general, you don't hear me like complaining about that. Like it's not them. It's like if I thought it was women's fault all the time and I took no accountability for things that I was doing wrong or that I could do better, then it's like you just keep repeating and then blaming. But it's like I don't blame anybody. I don't blame any of my girlfriends. I don't blame women. Like there's definitely issues. Like if a woman tells you like men are not what they used to be, it's like, yeah, no, it's true. Like that's not wrong. It's not like they're wrong about that. But if they're talking about it like too much, and then like you listen to them for 20 minutes and you're like, all right, you're annoying. Then it's like, yes, men are not what they used to be, but you're also really annoying, and you're not going to be able to attract the guy you want because the guy you want wouldn't want you. You know what I'm saying? There's always like, and same with me. It's like I don't know. I believe that I'll be able to get the type of chick that I want when the time is right. And then I won't call her chick. I'll call her a woman and a lovely lady. But it's like in the meantime, I'm not going to blame all women. It's not like all their fault all the time. It's like, it's definitely, I'm sure when I'm in the right place and I'm, like, I'll be good. No, I didn't. I'm being real about it. I think it's harder for both sides to find somebody because it's just the world is not what it used to be. So just like I said, a lot of women are liberal. That's just a fact. Like, I don't, no offense. I don't really want like it's a woman who's willing to listen and understand and learn. I don't really want like a left wing feminist wife, but it's like literally over half of the population is like that. That's the reality, you know? I'm not saying it's all their fault. That's just like statistically accurate. But someone said, so tens of millions of men all saying women are money grubbing blanks, whores. I'll just say it from their experiences or just making it up. No, I mean, there's definitely a lot of that, but also here's my thoughts too. I do think nowadays that it's probably a lot harder to get women if you're not doing well because women are have a lot of options and I think that guys are willing to do a lot for them. So but here's the thing is like I don't think all women are like that, but I do think that there's a lot of women that have so many options that they're going for wealthier guys and I think as a woman if you can't get material wealth, which I think a lot of women want for security, you're looking for a guy that you believe in that you believe can like take care of you the rest of your life. So it's one of those things too where it's like should a woman wants to see something. They want to see a guy that could take care of them. They want to see a guy that can provide for them and a guy like just like a girl if she has nothing to offer, you don't have to marry her. You could say she's money grubbing and worthless or whatever, but they want something out of you. So it's like what are you providing to them? If she only likes your money and doesn't like your personality and what you do for work and how you act, then it's probably not going to work well. But if it's like it goes both ways, I think. So there's definitely a lot of Jezebels out there and people that want this and that, but I don't know. Eventually, they either have to figure out what they want or they'll be with someone they don't like just for that. Um, and then they could be like 45 and divorced and looking for someone new, and then those guys won't want them anymore. And then, yeah, it's like everybody gets what they deserve, I think, eventually, whether they like it or not. So I think a lot of women think about that stuff, but I guess I understand. It's not like I'm just gonna or someone should just go for that. I understand wanting security if you could get that, but you got to be careful with what guy you go for if they're pieces of garbage. You got to be able to like discern between all that. Someone said feminists only want money. Well, I don't like feminists anyway. Someone said exactly. My husband doesn't make a lot of money, but he pays the bills somehow. Well, I'm sure you see something in him as well. Like I can't really speak for everyone, but I just know for myself, like I've always been super ambitious. Like I'm very, very ambitious. So the girl that I date usually, hopefully likes that, likes that I'm super ambitious. I feel like if you have good discernment, you could tell who likes you for what reasons. Like if someone only likes you because you have money or they only like you to use you, you should be able to tell, but someone said the problem is we're on a prison planet and we're about to be dinner and everybody's just a narcissist. That's one way to look at it. Someone said impossible in this age. I mean, everything's possible though. I'm not trying to turn this into a therapy session, but at the end of the day, right? We all are who we are, right? If you're this is going to be a singles course for men and women. If you're a single man or woman, right? You can't look at what you don't have, right? You are who you are. You are what God gave you. You could be a better version of that, right? We could all work out or do more or be more ambitious. So it's like, don't ever, guy or girl, you can't spend energy thinking about things that you're not and doing things that have you get what I'm saying? Like, the more time you spend thinking about that or this, you're just being annoying. And then like people don't like that. Like a woman doesn't want to go on a date with you and hear you complaining about things. And a guy doesn't want to go on a date with a woman hearing about her complain about things all the time. Like, they want to enjoy the present, and everybody likes confidence to some extent. So with that being said, it's just like, yes, there's a lot of that and there's a lot of that, but what are we going to talk about it all the time? Or are we going to be the best version of ourselves and hopefully find the opposite sex that is the best version of themselves too? And then you meet, like, there's success stories everywhere. There's people getting married all the time. There's millions of people having babies like every day. So it's like, it's not impossible. It's definitely possible. It's definitely there. It's not the easiest thing, but nothing in life is easy. So to men or women that are single, spend less time complaining and less time thinking about all the things that are wrong, and do better yourself, and then try to attract the right. I've seen dudes that are like, 4'11" get more chicks than taller dudes. Like, I've literally seen it. There's one kid I went to high school with. I think he passed away, so rest in peace to Teddy. He used to get so many chicks, and he was like a midget. He just had so much swag, so much personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was always the life of the party. He may or may not have done, I don't know. Like, I didn't know him that well, but like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, some guys will be like, well, I'm not tall enough and I'm not this enough and I don't look good enough. I don't know, dude. He was like 4'10" and he was getting super hot chicks. If he could do it, anyone could do it. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, maybe he could have got more chicks if he's even taller, I guess. But at the same time, like, you just got to work with whatever you got, like, there's people like Vin Diesel's bald, some people are like, I don't have hair. It's like, he doesn't have hair. I'm sure he's doing fine. I don't know. Definitely, like, you just can't like spend time being like, I don't have this, I don't have that, women suck. It's like, whatever, lock in, folks. It's 2025. Lock in, be the best version of yourself. Then you become attractive to somebody more attractive. But if you're being annoying and cringe and I feel so bad, then, people are like, ugh, annoying, This is a good one. Soldier, he said, men have to live their purpose and not worry about women, and that's when she'll appear. I've done that most of my life, almost to a fault, where I've just been being like, get out of my way. I got dreams to achieve. Now that I've achieved a lot of them, it's like, I'm not done, but I'm like, all right, now I gotta like, still keep going, but at the same time, like, think about it a little more and eventually find someone that not being selfish. See, look, someone said, I'm 5 foot tall. I dated short guys and I like them. I mean, there's, I have a friend who, he's not that small, but like, he's definitely on the shorter side. Like, he tells me that tall chicks, but he's got really good personality and he's super funny, super cool guy. He tells me all the time, girls will be like, oh, I've never dated a guy smaller than me. But like, they do for him, because he's cool and they like him. It's like, there's always, I don't know. You want to be the anomaly, right? It's like, you don't need to be the trend. Oh, well, they only do this sometimes. It's like, these girls suck. It's like, yeah, sure. But at the end of it, like, lock in, folks. It's the end of the year. It's December. It's almost 2026. We're wasting our lives. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'll be good. How much for an artificial womb or a surrogate womb? I don't know. I don't want to know. All right, I'm going to go in like 10 more minutes, but appreciate y'all hanging out. I don't know if this is the best for business, but I always have fun when we hang out and talk about random stuff. I don't know. Politics is only one side. Believe, conceive, achieve. Yeah, Michael Bisping had one eye and he became the UFC champion. There's legends everywhere. Someone said my husband's bald. I love bald men too. Said someone. Yeah, I mean, women appear where there is no community or anything anymore. Diversity destroyed all that. Well, Horatius, I hear you. It's like, you got to just go. I don't know. It's like the gym, the bar and stuff, but it's like, do you really want to meet a chick at the bar? I know places that there's lots of girls, but it's just like, it's always in places that you don't want to be all the time. Women just flock to like nightclubs. I don't know. There's women, they have run clubs. They have you could talk to a chick at the coffee store, get kicked out for being weird. No, I'm just kidding. But I hear you, dude. There, it's not, a lot of things are not what they used to be, but you have to stop thinking, like, even for me, let's just say like this year, I didn't meet the right chick this year. But it's like, am I going to sit around and be like, okay, it's because society sucks? There are communities out there, but you just got to find them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to find the community if you're just thinking about how it's not there. And it's like earlier this year, I was busier and I didn't do that much stuff. Later in the year, I started finding communities and doing more things. And then you meet more people. You know what I'm saying? And then you realize, oh, they're out there. It's just, you just got to like put yourself in an opportunity to find them versus just moping around about what's not there. I don't like to mope around. Let's see. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bucko. Okay. Wait, I used to have a good Jordan Peterson. What happened to it? Hold on. I haven't done it in so long. Where's my Peterson? I used to have a good Peterson. Bucko. I don't have it today. Dude, I'm Petersoned out. Those who watch the show, they remember a time where I had a good Jordan Peterson impression. That happened. Now, I don't. Someone said, dude, your relationship diatribes are so hypocritical. You and that guy, you guys should hang out because you guys like to look at the negative and like, find the worst in everything. So you guys should become a thing. Clean your room, bucko. It's not good. I saved your impression of JP as my ringtone. Dang, that's hilarious. Thank you for at least having proof. I didn't expect someone to have done that, but I had a good JP. It's just, I haven't thought about Jordan in a while, so it's like, I've lost it. I got a Trump. I got a Bernie Sanders. I had a Jordan Peterson. I had a Seth Rogen at one point. I have a few. I had a Dr. Burks. I have an RFK Jr., but I can't really whip that out. That'll be hateful. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really have an RFK. Tim Dillon has a really good RFK, though. And then people are like, oh, you shouldn't make fun of RFK. How are you going to do an impression without sounding like him? You know what I'm saying? Like, Tim Dillon's RFK is so good, and it's so funny. And it's like, oh, that's rude. How is it rude? What are you going to do? I'm RFK Jr. I sound like this. He doesn't sound like that. You got to sound like RFK if you're going to do an RFK impression. I don't believe it's rude to like talk like RFK. If you're doing an RFK impression, I believe it's accurate. Like it's the only way to do it. How are you going to do it without that? It don't make sense to me. Young buck, a high-spirited young man. Sounds like Kermit doing puberty. Yeah, I know what Jordan sounds like. I just don't have it in me. You know what I'm saying? I can't. Coach, put me on the bench. I don't have it. I don't know what to tell you. Can I do Alex Jones? Yeah, but it's going to hurt my throat. And I'm like, I felt fine for a while, but I don't want to hurt my throat right now because it's a real deep thing. But I could do an Alex. I remember when impressions were a compliment. Everybody, I mean, it's either an impression's good or it's not. But like a lot of the Trump impressions were bad because they were just trying so hard to like make them look bad. But it's like just make Trump funny and it's funny. You don't have to like overdo the Trump impression. Like when they would do it on SNL, everyone was complaining it was mean. I wouldn't say it was mean. It just wasn't funny or accurate. So it's like, what's the point? Now you're just like pushing politics and not even being funny. Okay, but if you do it right and you do it big and beautiful and it's the most big, beautiful ballroom I've ever seen, some would call it the big, beautiful ballroom, like the big, beautiful bill that Rand Paul and Thomas Massey voted against because they're really little with two D's, bad men who don't take APAC money and support Israel as much as I do for my donors, okay? Like, you don't have to, you don't, that's not mean, I don't think. That was funny.
Why won't you take money from APEC? Everyone does it. Why won't you do it? Marjorie Trader Brown, because everything turns brown in the green world, okay?
It's like, all right, bro. What are you, like a freaking? This is like Carmen San Diego or something. He's like,
Marjorie Trader Brown, because the grass turns brown.
and people, oh, there's a code in that. No, look at the Q code. The Q code in the brown with the Q. It's like, all right, dude.
True Social's the best platform.
He said that today, and it's like, is it though? Is it really the best platform? The Sarah Palin impressions were the best on SNL. That might have cost her the election. They cooked her.
Okay, next question, please. Okay, Miss Piggy. Okay, Miss Piggy. Oink, oink. Miss Fatty, always asking questions. Oh, look at me. I'm a reporter. Oink, oink. Shut up, Piggy. Okay? You're gross. You're fat. You're ugly. I'm not. So what's the point of even talking? You're done. Zip it, Piggy.
She's like, oink, oink, sorry. That would be funny. That would be funny if they turn the camera and he calls her Piggy and it's literally just a giant like pig woman sitting there. And you're like, who's that? And you're like, oh, that's Piggy Johnson from NPR. You're like, what? She looks like that? Love, you like my Trump impression? Thank you.
Marjorie Taylor, queen. She's not green. She's a queen. Oh, wait, no, she's brown now. She's brown like grass when it turns brown, not green. She's a traitor for not taking money for Israel.
I should do like an Instagram or a TikTok where I'm like,
Marjorie Trader Brown, Little Rand Paul, and Thomas Trader Massey are traitors because they don't take money from APAC, okay? Why won't you take money from the Israel lobby? That's what we all do. We all sell out America for Israel, and you're a traitor for serving your country over Israel, okay? That's what a traitor is, not me who takes money to sell it.
it's like, there's something there. That would be a good one. But then I'll get all the Trump people in my comments.
Oh, Anama, you changed so much. What happened to you? I remember.
I feel like I did good reporting then too. And the funny thing is too, if you go back to like 2018 and 2019, I did videos opposing Trump. Not as many as agreeing with him, but it's not like I was never really that guy. Like I called him out when he was against H-1B visas in 2019. I have a video from 2019 saying Trump is lying about H-1B visas. And now 6 years later, people are like, oh, this just happened. Then why do I have a video 6 years ago of Trump doing it? Because I was the only one who covered it then. I just agreed with Trump more then because he wasn't doing as much to piss me off. So it's like I always just did what I thought was my job. I don't, I definitely evolved and it grew as a person, but like I never not called him out. But I did notice even in 2018 and 2019, anytime I called Trump out, people would definitely like freak out, They'd be like, I hate this video. I like the other one. All right. And the other one would get like 500,000 views. I'd call out Trump. It would get like 50,000 views and people would get mad. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Someone said, then you're a Biden supporter. No Bolshevik, both sides. Oh, I get what you're saying. You're saying they think if you don't agree with Trump, you're a Biden supporter, but it's Bolsheviks on both sides. I agree. Someone, Horatius said, I got to read this because it's funny. He said, women have to just not be fat and be pleasant to be around, and they can't even do that. Dude, that's crazy. I mean, they could say that like men just have to like work and make money, but they can't do that. They're fat. So it could go both ways, but that was funny. I'm trying to save my bases unless we got feminists watching this. I disagree. Women are queens. They're all queens. Every woman, even really annoying women that have no objective value, they're queens. And you should work overtime to buy them purses, even when they offer nothing to the table. They're queens. All of them, Horatio. I agree with you. Don't tell him. It's totally messed up. Anyway, So did I get booked for the feminist conference this year? Because I've been working really hard. I'm just kidding. Someone said I get mad when Trump. I get laugh when Trump gets mad. Trump is kind of cooked. He used to be funnier and cooler, but now he gets flustered. He gets flustered by like everything. They're like, Trump, like, why are you trying to regime change Maduro? He's like, shut up, you're fake news. It's like, now you have a problem where the news is fake, corporate media is not to be trusted, but also Trump is lying, right? So they're like, you're fake news. And it's like, sometimes yes, but sometimes also Trump's lying. So it's like, if you're still caught in the like, Trump's telling the truth and the government's awesome because Trump runs it now and only the media lies, it's like, nah, no. Someone said, deport Somalis, yay, import Chinese. Wait, what? I mean, I'm not saying this is a racial draft because that's inappropriate. This is not the Chappelle show. But hypothetically, if this were a racial draft for America, are you telling me you see no difference between those two cultures? Because I'm not saying anything, but I'm just going to keep my opinions to myself. Someone said, she said you're kind of being a self-hating person in a recent video. I don't care what she says. Women have opinions. I don't listen to them. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm being like self-deprecating to be funny because I run a show. If I just did like, oh, I love myself and I'm amazing, I don't think that would like play that well. But I don't have a problem with chicks. I don't care what this lady says, but I'm confident. I'm happy. I'm doing well. I don't know. I just don't like. I'm comfortable pointing out things that I want to change, and I don't really care. If I was really self-conscious, I just wouldn't say it on camera. Me saying it kind of tells you I don't really care that much. Can someone tell me how to get the freezing, like how to get the bubble to stop freezing every time? If I put a thumbs up, it just where now it doesn't do it when I actually do a thumbs up. Every time I go live, it like freezes my camera and I don't know what's going on. And it's really annoying. Someone said, you're amazing. Yes. I will not show weakness anymore, Michelle. I am amazing. I will never make self-deprecating jokes. I love myself. The hottest women in the world should all love me as well, because that's what I deserve. I'm an alpha. I deserve everything. I will never show weakness again because one girl here said I'm a hypocrite. So thank you. Appreciate it. Someone said I don't subscribe to gossip columns. So yeah, neither do I. Someone said Eminem is a blank, the race we can't mention because it's anti-Semitic. I don't think he is. I think he's a white boy. I think he's one of them whites. But I don't know. I've never really looked up his early life. I don't think he is though. But if you want to think he is, it is the internet. Everyone is allowed to think things. And someone said I'm bagging up. LMFAO, you're hilarious. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's only when you're on with someone and it freezes. No, it did it today too. I like do a thumbs up and it like freezes. I'm trying to get it to like it pops up and then it freezes, even when I'm by myself. His mom. Let's see. It says no. I don't. I think you're wrong, honestly. I don't think Eminem is, but you have to understand, folks. There's some white boys that can rap really good and say degenerate things, and that's okay. You don't have to change people's race Or you could try, or you never know. I guess after Mali, I don't know anymore because he like said he wasn't, then he said he was. I don't know. Some people are shapeshifting races out here, so you can never be too careful. Whoopi Goldberg is a black woman, but she said she's Jewish and changed her name to Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? Like, is she really Jewish? I mean, I think she wanted to tell Hollywood she was so she can get more jobs, but I don't think Jewish people in Hollywood were like, oh yeah, she's Jewish too, because her name's Goldberg. So there are your occasional shapeshifters out here who will try to like change ethnic groups in order to, hide things or perhaps get a job at The View. No, I'm just kidding. Isn't her real name like Elaine or something? I think the Whoopi one is so funny. They were like, all right, we're looking for a Mrs. Goldberg. And she's like, I'm here. And they're like, you're Mrs. Goldberg? I think we were looking for a different Goldberg. And she's like, no, that's me. Why? You don't think someone that looks like me can be Ashkenazi or something? Are you trying to be racist? And they're like, whoa, we're sorry, Whoopi. Yeah, you got the role. We do not want to be racist here. And we understand that Jewish people look just like you too. But it's like, she's not really Jewish though. She's kind of just pretending, it's a little weird, but I don't know. It's a play. It's definitely a play. I respect any sort of hustle. So if that worked for her, I would love, if I ever interviewed Whoopi, I would be like, what role did that play? You changing your name to like a very Jewish last name? Like, did that help you get jobs and interviews, or were you just inspired to like do that? Like, how does that happen? Like, imagine like Peyton Manning just changes his name to like Peyton Goldberg or something. It's like, why'd you do that? Like, dude, Whoopi's so funny. Someone said, doesn't your mom have to be Jewish to actually be included? Well, it's not my club, but I think it's like there's a difference between the ethnicity and the religion. And I believe in the religion, which is based off the ethnicity, that the mom side seems to have more push than your father's side. So it's like if your father's 100% Jewish, but your mother's 100% not, you're 50% ethnically Jewish, and you could potentially be religiously Jewish, but it's like, it's not as strong as the mom's side. So I don't know. You'd have to ask somebody in that field, in that space, but I do know the mom's side is like, has a special spirituality to it to some extent, but it is what it is. It doesn't matter to me. I treat you like my brother as long as you're a good person or something like that. She wanted to have that ultimate victim card. Yeah. The Whoopi one is the best, dude. Got to have fun with it. It's not her married name. No, I'm not. I don't want to get into it, but I've gone on Whoopi's Wikipedia. It's like hilarious. Like, it says she changed her name and then she went on some genetic show, and said like, that she was Jewish, and they did her DNA test and it came out like sub-Saharan African and she wasn't Jewish. I don't remember the full extent of it. Allegedly, reportedly, that's what I remember from my memory. But go try to find that, because it's something like that. It's like she just changed it and then she went on like some show saying she was, and they literally DNA tested her. I'll read it. I've read it before because it's so funny. Let me find it. Sorry. Whoopi Goldberg. Let's do it. Whoopi. I hope they still have it on Wikipedia. Sometimes would it be under personal life? Where is the DNA thing? Okay, here it is. About her stage surname, she claimed in 2011, "My mother did not name me Whoopi, but Goldberg is my name. It's part of my family, part of my heritage, just like being black. And I just know I'm Jewish. I practice nothing. I don't go to temple, but you always remember the holidays." Whoopi stated, "People would say, 'Come on, are you Jewish?' And I always said, 'Would you ask me if I was white? I bet not.'" So I was right in my joke earlier that she was like using the race card to protect people who didn't think she was Jewish. And it says researcher Henry Louis Gates Jr. found that all of Goldberg's traceable ancestors were black, that she had no known Jewish ancestry, and that none of her ancestors were named Goldbergs. Result of a DNA test revealed in a 2006 PBS documentary, African American Lives, traced part of her ancestry to the Papal and Bayot people of modern-day Guinea-Bissau of West Africa. So, yeah, I would like literally in my jokes, I was correct. She just like said she was Jewish and she like kind of knew she was. And then she went to, and then they were like, are you sure? And she's like, ooh, you're just asking me because I'm black. If I was white, you wouldn't ask me. And then someone's like, yeah, we did your DNA test and we don't see it. And she's like, whoa, seems racist. So anyway, enough about Whoopi Goldberg, but it is funny. Didn't Whoopi Goldberg get in trouble for calling Jews white? She did something because she had to like apologize and take a break or something. I forget what she did. Something like that, you know? See, that's how you know she's not really Jewish, because if she was, she would like know the difference. But she's like, I thought, you know, and they're like, we don't care what you thought. You need a break. She's like, but I'm not tired. They're like, yeah, you need a break. You know, go take a break. Go think about what you said. She's like, I don't even know what I said. And I remember covering that years ago. And I told people, I'm like, do I think Whoopi Goldberg is anti-Semitic? No. Do I think she's stupid? Yes. I think she's dumb. I think she's really dumb. So it's like you're punishing Whoopi Goldberg for being dumb, but she's been dumb forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, she said dumb things. How many dumb things has Whoopi Goldberg said on air? Hundreds, thousands. Almost everything she says is dumb. And then she says something dumb about something Jewish and she has to take a break. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, then what else is there to talk about? You know, how come none of her other 20,000 dumb opinions never got her canceled? Because there's one that seems to hit home. Someone said, Anomaly's so blessed to not join PBD as an Israel First show now. I don't watch their podcast, so I have no idea what they're talking about. But I don't know what you're saying. Are they covering that topic a lot or something? I don't watch them. Oh, she said the event that must not be named was not racist. Oh, because she didn't understand the difference between like white people and Jewish people. Is that what she said? Well, that's the problem when you get a television show when you're like really dumb. You know, it's like you're on TV talking for 30 minutes a day like she's some expert, but she's like really dumb. So she's like confidently like, oh, there's no race involved in this. And they're like, yeah, but no, though. But there is, because they're different races. Like, you know, a lot of people don't understand that, though. It's not just Whoopi. A lot of people just think like all white people are one, or at least like there's no difference. And part of that's by design. There's a lot I could talk about, but let's not go there. All right, I'm going to head out in like a couple minutes. Appreciate y'all. Let me just do this one more time. And if I see an interesting comment that catches my attention, we got these hats, folks. Dream Rare, USA made, code 10% off for Cyber Monday till Cyber Friday or whatever. I just made that up, but codes for 5 days. I know because I put it in. Made in the USA. You see that American flag right there? That's because these were custom made in the USA. It's hard to find hats in the USA. These are like dad tennis hats. I've had different styles, but these are dad tennis hats. These are perfect for men or women. These are transgender hats. So, you know, if you don't know what gender you are, this hat's for you, because it really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So you put this bad boy on, play tennis in this. You can golf in this. You can make it part, if you're a chick, you can make it part of your Sunday church outfit. If you're a dude, you could just rock it wherever. If you're an anomaly, but my ears are cold, I hear you. That's why I was wearing this hat today, because it's getting a little chilly out there. So we got the black and the blue God Bless hats, the beanies. You already know what it is, made in the USA as well. And then if you're into quirky shirts, I have a lot of quirky shirts out there. I'll show you a few more, but we got the I Love Boomer shirts because we love boomers here. We're big boomer fans out here. And you know, a lot of people are hating on the boomers because they have all the wealth. They started all the wars and they're completely oblivious of it all and don't seem to want to learn. But that's okay. You know, everybody has their pros and cons, and that's just their blind spot. The rest they're really cool about. So let me show you a few other shirts I have at dreamrare.com. We got in the world full of sheep be an anomaly. You see on the left side, the sheep are walking towards what looks like disaster. On the right, it's us just vibing, walking towards paradise. We got the have a great day shirt. If you want a good vibe, you wear that. People look at you and you're just wishing them a good day. It's a good energy to have a shirt like that on. The illusion of choice. You got Trump, you got Biden, you got the laughing banker above them, just laughing hysterically because people think they're actually fighting when they're really not. Grateful mindset. That's just a vibe. You know what I'm saying? You could wear that to Portland. You could camp in that. You could hike with that shirt. You could wear it to a tennis practice. You got the dream rare if you want to show love, pay homage to the podcast. You got the dream rare anomaly Ghibli vibe. You know what I'm saying? And it's just how we do it out here. We got options on options at dreamrare.com and 10% off USA made. Use that code. It's only going to last till Friday. Hey, anomaly, my name's John Jingleheimer Smith. It's not, you can't be your name. That's just an old song or something. But what should I get for my family for Christmas? Well, John, thanks for asking. I mean, you should try to get them a hat, a shirt, get them a beanie. You know what I'm saying? You got a boomer, just wear that to Christmas for yourself, just to impress the people you haven't seen. Maybe they'll like you this year instead of, you always them not liking your politics. Got that. And then I'll just, it's got the God bless, the God is great, got a white one, got a black one. You already know. So dreamwear.com, everything's made in the USA. 10% off. That's all I could do because I don't have the best profit margins because I'm not out here buying complete garbage. I'm buying the best quality hats I could find. I'm always keeping it made in the USA. And if you hadn't already recognized anything made in the USA, whether it's my shirt or my hat, I'm usually losing about $10 minimum, usually around that, on what I could sell it for. I could find a shirt for like $3 or $4 a pop, but it's not going to be made in America. The made in America shirt, I don't know exactly how many that is, but it's definitely above 10, probably like 14 or something. But and the hats, same thing. You can't find these less than that because that's what they do. If you want cheap stuff, it's cheap. This is made in America. Dreamwear.com, USA made, all caps. How do you spell USA made? Well, it's one word in this version. If you're just listening to podcasts, we got to be really specific. USA made, USA MADE, all caps, one word, USA made, code 10%. Someone said, look, Anomaly's losing money, you ingrates. That's a little rude. I don't know where that came from. I didn't say I'm losing money. I just said I'm buying better material, so my profit margins are not as high, so I can't do as big of a sale. I never said I'm losing money. If I was losing money on the hats, I just wouldn't sell hats. So it's not that drastic. Thank you for adding to the drama of it, but it's not that serious, I just like to explain. I like to be like, everything I'm saying is true. So it's like they didn't have hats made in America, so I custom made them. I got them custom made. I paid more to have them basically make these from all USA materials from scratch for me. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. Yes, it costs more, but it's like, it's part of the story. I don't like fake gimmicks, like buy 70% off if you're made in China. It's like, cool. That I get that works. I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's just not my style. So then when I sell it, I like my ad to just literally be what happened. I don't like to like come up with some 55% off if you're doing it 7 hours from now, and then I'll send you a free, loofah for your shower. It's like, all right, bro, everyone, someone else could do that. I'm just telling you what it is. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the cool guys and the few haters. We all got haters, right? We all got a few haters. It's okay. So let's give a round of applause for the haters. You know what I'm saying? It's Christmas time. They need some love too. And before I leave, I just wanted to have a Mr. Rogers moment with you. I don't even really consider you guys haters. I consider you guys friends. Thanks for hanging out. Dreamer Podcast. Have a beautiful day. God bless you. Have a Merry Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, have a happy holiday season for whatever you're celebrating. It's all love.